All right, everyone. Hope you're all doing good today. Hope you're all doing well. It's time for another episode of Speedruns From the Crypt, your bi-weekly horror hotfix. I'm your Dices, and before we hop into the game today, a lot of fun news in the world of GDQ stuff. If you have not heard the announcements, we have some pretty big ones today. For one, Summer Games Done Quick 2026 will be live in Minneapolis, Minnesota from July 5th to the 11th. You can visit gdq.gg to learn more or register for the events. And as well, the schedule, stay tuned for the games list coming out May 1st. As well, GDQ is going to be coming to Gamescom. Gamescom GDQ will take place August 28th to the 30th, live in Cologne, Germany. Join GDQ's first European event by submitting your runs from May 4th to the 17th and visit gamescom.global for more info on the events. So, I guess speaking of dates in general and big news, it is April 29th. Not exactly the day, but recently it was April 26th, which if you don't know, it's Alien Day. You know, the fun celebration of the Alien franchise. And kind of relevant to today, I promise this wasn't planned, but, you know, it was partially planned, but we actually did get a little bit of a sneak peek at Alien Isolation 2. Not a big one, but, you know, enough to let you know it's coming, you know? So I guess to enjoy all that hype and have a fun day around the Alien franchise, we're going to be taking a look at Alien Isolation, but a little bit different. This is going to be Alien Isolation No Major Glitches Novice Chainsaw Controller Presents with Nico Hart. So take it away.
Sure thing. Hi, everybody. I'm playing with a chainsaw controller. Like, you've seen me play different games on a variety of weird controllers and all sorts of stuff, but this is a new controller into my arsenal of just the other inane things that I make. So this is a GameCube Resident Evil 4 chainsaw controller. I wish I had the PlayStation 1. There's a few more inputs and stuff like that, but my good friend, and I saw him in the chat a moment ago, Kebab Thief, very kind of go, hey, I've just got a spare one. Do you want it? I'm like, absolutely, yes, because this is a controller and a half, but there was a slight hitch. There are literally no GameCube male-to-male cables. So this is the male end of the cable, and there's just no male-to-male cables. So I had to actually splice two extension cables together so that I could actually make it work. It's the first time that I've done like soldering, heat sinking, and heat shrink wrapping, all that stuff. And it worked perfectly fine, surprisingly. So I'm happy. We can do speedruns, we can have some fun. So yeah, just before we get everything started, I'll do all the disclaimer stuff. Hello, I'm Nico Hart. I'm a variety streamer, speedrunner, DJ, all the kind of things. Been speedrunning this game for a long time now. We're talking about, I started probably 7 years ago. It was my main for a while, and it's still a treasured speedrun. We are playing the game in Italian. It's 30 seconds faster, usually the language pack. French is faster by 0.5, but Italian preferred. We're playing this at around 275 frames per second because if you play it any higher, it will go a little bit skew with. We don't want that to happen. Outside of that, we are playing Novice because it is of the easier category, albeit the RNG of the Xenomorph is actually a little bit weirder, so Nightmare is actually easier technically than Novice, but it's fine. I think with that all that said and done, I think I'm going to explain a tiny bit about the controls before we get in. This is my movement stick. It's weird. It sometimes doesn't do as proper, so that's fine. C stick is my mouse looking up and down, so I'm basically mapping everything to mouse and keyboards. This is my right mouse button. This is my left mouse button. The Z button here really replaces my crouch button. This is my run button as well. This is my weapon select, reload, flashlight, and my radial menu. I think that's everything. Let's get into the run, shall we? So, let's do the thing. So, we're going to play Novice. Let me get it set up. And let's do this thing. Let's do this thing, shall we? The time's going to be starting after the second cutscene. So, this is the first cutscene skip. And I think that's the second cutscene skip. And the time will start now. Alrighty then. Alrighty. So welcome on into Alien Isolation. This is kind of like from Ellen Ripley's daughter's perspective, Amanda Ripley. They're trying to find a black box recording or like a signal somewhere that there was potentially a source of Ellen Ripley somewhere in deep space, and the location that is going to be on Sevastopol, which is where we're kind of getting briefed to go to very, very soon. The first mission of the game is literally to get dressed. It is pretty much impossible to actually like do any kind of game progression at all if you do not get dressed, which is kind of the funniest thing, isn't it? Outside of that, we got to try to do a few things in order to make mission 1 faster. It has weirdly evolved, mission 1, over the last few years, that they've actually managed to cut down time to, I believe, like a 3-minute 21, which is still kind of nutty, but I only just figured out remember the strats this morning, so let's do it. So you got to go into this bit to talk to Samuels, back out, then go back in a tiny bit, but don't cross this line just yet. Wait for Samuels to start moving. Patience. There we go. And that skips a lot of dialogue, basically, so it's faster. Trust me. There we go, good. So we have to wait for us to say Nola Vista, which means that we can start over towards Taylor, and then we're going to try to skip some of Taylor's dialogue as well, because when I wasn't skipping it, there's a lot of dialogue between them as well. So we're going to go in first to activate the dialogue, and leave the area to try to go to the last of the orange floorboarders, and then start heading backwards once we've done that. Then we go back into Taylor. It'll be the last dialogue of Taylor's, and then we can start leaving to go and see if we can activate Samuels and bring him over towards the briefing room. There we go. And Epion in the chat saying, like, you've seen a lot of things like guitar, drums, blindfolds. There is a lot of people like myself who like to play games in very unconventional manners, and this is, like I say, just one of the controllers that I've done. It's not just a chainsaw controller. I've done DJ decks, steering wheels, DSLR camera. I've got a Nokia 3310 as a game controller. There's a lot of ways that you can play video games. You can play with your brain. There's Dance Dance Revolution pads. You know, if you can play a game in a way, then you can have fun with it. That's the best part about it. You can show new lights to such awesome games like Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Alien Isolation. It's awesome. Right, so we got Verlaine over here. Verlaine is going to try to coach us in what's going on. We're trying to go over to Sevastopol through spacesuits and an EVA line. The cutscenes that we're going to be skipping is where the meteoroids and asteroids are going to tap the line. We're going to go spiraling in space, but luckily land up in Sevastopol, and that's where it all goes. And yes, as Pitscreen Link says as well, like Undertale on a bicycle as well. That was a very fun speedrun for our good friend Amber Cyprian for their passion project Hotfix as well. So lots of amazing hotfixes that you can check on Games Done Quick. Always double check to see what hotfixes are showing most days of the week as well. Right, we're into mission 2. So let me give you I'm going to try to give you some TLDRs of the lore, by the way. Like, I'm not going to go full lore. It's 3 a.m. Well, nearly 3 a.m. I'm tired. I haven't slept much, so as much as I love the lore of this game, I don't like mission 9, so for those who know mission 9, you'll see very soon anyway. But for the most part, we're going to try to find a door code. We're going to try to navigate the space flight terminal and try to get through the main doors to the transit link to find a new friend, Axel. Spoiler. I say spoiler. For those who've not seen the run or played the game, don't worry, you'll find out. Good question from Yoshi there. How long did it take me to get used to playing with the chainsaw? 2 days. I'm not even kidding. I started it on Monday. Like, I only just got it hooked up on a Monday, and then I had to just try to remap my brain. But the best part about it is, once you've already played with one controller unconventionally, then you can quickly remap your brain to do everything else. So it was literally just a case of me trying to play well. Initially, my first run was a 330, which is our estimate today as well. And then just this afternoon, I managed to get a 310 RTA. So, you know what? It worked out pretty well. Now, we do want to pick up some dedicated loot. So let's talk a little bit more about the novice category. Novice, you get an immense amount of loot. So that way you're going to be absolutely fine for all of the things that you're going to be crafting later. You're going to be crafting things like pipe bombs, which is kind of dedicated items that we need to build. EMP mines, Molotovs. You're fine. Novice, I mean, Novice is very easy on that, but Nightmare, as you can imagine, loot is very obscure. You can't find it too much. So you have to be very precise about the things that you're picking up. So the problem, because we are going, oh, by the way, on PC, you can map the middle mouse wheel to the E button, but obviously because I can't do that, I have to manually press the button. Ew, manually pressing. Ugh. But I digress, you know, it's, seeing as this is a GameCube controller, you just got to try to remember your Mario Party days and you're absolutely fine. Right, I'm going to crouch onto this. But I didn't. I just took the damage anyway. So I just took 25% damage. I took 25% damage when I took the ball, which is scripted damage. And then I made a boo-boo. So oopsie daisy. It's fine. It's fine. Right. So from here on out, we're actually going to be seeing the Taurens actually flying by us. And because Verlaine doesn't know that we've landed in, we tried to still signal them. Be hey, you know, hey. They can't hear us. Hi. Yeah, nothing. So we're going to have to try and find some way to be able to communicate with Verlaine later on, but that's a much later thing, and I think that's mission 16, which I'll talk about that later. Anyway. There we go. I will say this as well, just before we get into the beef of the game. My knuckles on this controller, they have been suffering. This is like a very strangely held controller, so you will experience knuckle pain, and especially as I was doing this practice for like 8 hours earlier on. I'm looking forward to not touching this controller later. All right, so this is another like sort of a major component of the game as well. Like, you got to treat this game a little bit like Resident Evil. Resident Evil reuses a lot of the same map and sort of surroundings. Like, you go into one bit and then you go back to it later. It's changed up a little bit. It's very similar to the same bit where Alien Isolation does reuse a lot of the same map. And you'll be seeing that like towards like mission 17. We'll actually be coming back here a little bit. Now, this bit is RNG. Axel left immediately. That is actually fantastic RNG because it can be up to 10 seconds of delay for Axel wanting to even trying to leave. Axel is a pain. He decides to just say, hey, want to take some time loss? Yeah, go screw yourself. Basically like that. We don't really like Axel, and you know, Axel's gonna have a good time very soon, and we'll talk about that momentarily when we actually get to meet him. And when I say meet him, he's going to forcefully meet us with an object held against our back. So, you know, that's one way of greeting each other, isn't it? Yeah, anyway, so the whole time that we're actually being brought onto this Sevastopol in the first place, we actually have no weapon. Now, we are going to be getting our very first weapon in a moment, which is our fantastic safety wrench. I don't think it's called the safety wrench, but it is a wrench anyway, so that's absolutely fine. It will be useful for opening things and disabling other things like the friendly working Joes, which we'll be talking about a little bit later on. For the most part, you can do a little skip over here if I had the peak key mapped. The problem with this, I do not even have enough inputs for a peak key. So there's a few buttons that I will have to default to the normal keyboard. I know, blasphemy. You think that like if I'm doing a weird controller, I should have all the inputs onto it? I wish. I wish. So there's a few buttons, which is going to be the peak key. I just have to not do any of the peak glitches, which is where if you hold the peak key as you're falling down, you'll be able to skip the actual damage of you landing. So that you can basically just run and leave straight away. The motion tracker, which we're only going to use once, which is a C key. So we can just, you know, just press it once on the keyboard and that's fine. And I think that's mostly it. Honestly, I think that's like only the major things that I need to worry about for the keyboard side of things. I mean, maybe apart from the escape key, Which is funny that I don't even have like the pausing on this controller. I have to default to keyboard on that. Because we are going to be doing some save loading, which is going to try to help to reset like NPC positionals and stuff like that as well. That's not going to be till mission... Whoa. I was thinking like 10 or 11, but I might be wrong. Again, tired brain is absolutely fine. If this was a GameCube controller, you could have mapped things to the C-stick. The C-stick is the look. Like, I could have technically mapped it to maybe something like the D-pad, because there is key bindings for next weapon and previous weapon. I could have done that, but I've got like... Technically, if I do like 1, 2, 3, 4 on the keyboard, it will go to revolver, shotgun, flamethrower, and then bolt gun. So it's just kind of like an easier selection for the weapons because, you know, you need to pull up a weapon exactly on the fly. That's why I've defaulted it to that. By the way, here's Axel, everybody. Say hi to... Axel. This... I'm going to say it. Douchebag. He's not a kind person. He's like that sort of person of you scratch my back and thank you. Not I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Not at all. He's just like, you know, do everything for me. You get nothing in return. I don't like you. Yeah, Axel, I don't like you. So that's about it. That's about it. That's all I can really give in the sense of like a love and appreciation to Axel is don't like him. So he's going to try to like lead us to his lair. Hours reference. So that we can get a flashlight and that will help us be able to like navigate a bit more the way through it. Because again, Axel can't wear a flashlight because, you know, he just can't. He just has no ability to do anything for himself. We have to do everything literally for him. So in a moment, he's going to try to start leading us through this lovely little vent over here. And he's always going to be leading the way. So we're going to see nothing but the backside of Axel. And that's the only kind of thanks that we get. That's it. Now, you saw there was 2 humans over there, by the way. So those 2 humans, they are on patrol because, you know, obviously we've seen that this place is mostly in disarray. That there is like, you know, a lot of like damage, rubble, you know, things aren't looking great in Sevastopol, but we don't know why. We only got a source of the black box, like the kind of like the signal and the recording that's been broadcasted. That even gave us a hint of location here. We do not know what the events transpired here, apart from Axel trying to say, hey, stick with me, things will be fine. And then there's humans patrolling with shotguns, and we're just like, yeah, why are we hiding? We don't know. We'll find out soon enough, but obviously we know that things aren't going well. So the best thing that we can do is probably be in our guards. Things will be explained a little bit later for the why of it. Now, Axel can sometimes be a bit weird here, so I'm going to try to take it a little bit chill. Because the main reason that if you nudge Axel in a weird position here, he just doesn't move at all. He just gets stuck in like some kind of like, you know, non-positional, and he just doesn't move until you actually nudge him back into position. So, Steph Stardust, it is 3 a.m. in the country for me at the moment of the United of Kingdoms, and I didn't have a chance to sleep yet, so I tried to nap, it didn't work. So if I do sound a little bit tired, sure you can forgive me, it's fine. Right, so we got our flashlight now. I'm going to hold this Y button here, which is going to be able to reload the flashlights. That's all we need to do, and this is literally the only other time that we're going to be using the flashlights. So I'm sure everybody in the chat right now could actually go, hey, you know, my first playthrough experience, I was always in the dark, I always needed my flashlight, I was always hiding. Yeah, I don't need to worry about it. The only other time that we know in this run, that we need to use the flashlight in this run, is literally to source this vent here. That is it. So that's it. I can even turn it off now because, you know, we've actually kind of like set the like the game beat that Axel's going to make their way over to here and then start to open up the vent for us, which is kind of a funny situation. Why can't we open a vent ourselves? I don't know. Axel has to do everything for us. We kind of lead him into the right territory, and he has to be the leader, basically. So this guy. Anyway, so he's managed to open up for us. I'm going to crouch ready to get into here. So pre-crouching into the vents does obviously take away a few milliseconds of animation, so that it doesn't like launch from standing to crouch, then go in. So it's always good to try to pre-crouch into the vents. Just saves a little bit of time, you know. Once again, the backside of Axel. But the first thing that we're going to do now is the first instance of me opening up the radio menu. So I'm going to press my start pause button on here and navigate towards the flare. Now that we are going to be doing our first kind of like speedrun strat. I'm going to call it speedrun strats. It's basically NPC distraction. So we're going to try to light a flare and throw it over to the other way. Make sure all the humans will go over that way. And then we're going to be introducing a new another speedrun strat called crouch hopping. So crouch hopping is an allowed strat because it's not even a minor glitch. Basically, you're going to crouch up and down as you're moving forwards, and it's going to add more silence to your step, but not full silence. So it is an allowed strat through and through. So here we go. Crouch hopping time. Okay. He looked back there for a second. That was weird. Okay, there's a loot over here. This is not a one-piece tattoo, to Yoshi asking in the chat. This is actually one of the graffitis that you can find within the game GDQ. It is of a skull bunny cross, like a skull cross and bones bunny. And I love the tattoo piece. I like the graffiti piece enough. I was just like, yeah, I'll get it tattooed. And cool fact, I did an IGN dev speedrun reacts to RKGK, and the devs even chatted about my tattoo in that reaction video. It was really cool, actually. So I get acknowledged from the devs, but sometimes when I do like certain parts of a game, I'll probably get a tattoo. Like my next tattoos are going to be from Vampire Survivor. Like I've got some cool assets that they provided me, so eventually. Right, everybody count with me. 1, 2, 3. I don't know why it's always on 5, but like, there's always like 2 seconds after the actual countdown that you actually get to press the button. So I don't know. Now we get to use our wrench as a weapon this time against this guy who's actually fighting Axel. And 3, 2, 1. There we go. Boom. There we go. Good. Now the problem with that, we made a lot of noise. So all the other humans who were over there, it was like, wait a second, what was that noise? Oh no. Cool. And when I said, like, you know, I don't really care about Axel too much, he's just a character in the game. We are skipping a cutscene, but Axel gets taken away by the Xenomorph. That is technically going to be the first instance where we actually get to meet the Xenomorph. The speedrunner name for the Xenomorph is Steve. So if you want to say hi to Steve, you can absolutely say hi. There's going to be multiple times where we get to meet Steve, and Steve can easily wreck our steeds, and we don't like that. Now, I can actually craft a medkit, so I'm going to do that right now. The funny thing is with this, because I am limited for my inputs, I can actually press the button in order to be able to click on each bit with the spacebar button. Spacebar is also bound to crouch, which is kind of funny. So as I'm putting in each of the components into making the craftable, I'm constantly crouching up and down as well. It's really funny. I don't know why. I'm not going to use it yet. I'm going to wait for a little bit before we do that because, like, we're about half health at the moment. It's fine. But we still have to be a little bit quiet because Steve is in their patrolling stage, which I'll talk about their states in just a second after a glass of water. All right, so there are multiple states of the Xenomorph, which is going to be inactive, active, or listening, patrolling, and scripted events. So you see things, you're going to be seeing a lot of scripted events later on where, like, you know, they're on the way to going to up vent. They can't be deterred from that point. That is a scripted event. The general patrolling is ones where, like, you know, they're just wandering around, like, kind of like seeing where we are. Other times they're completely just running at you. They've noticed you. They're active, or they're in that just before listening, say, like, there, if you know what I mean. So outside of that, we're now into mission 3. Hooray! So mission 3, we're going to be trying to disable the security lockdown system, trying to evade the Xenomorph, and escaping to Seegson communications. Again, I'm giving you very TLDR of the lore whilst we go through most of this game, but We're going to be trying to, well, no, not even trying to, we're going to be encountering a few more humans here, and obviously they're on high alert. So they just want to just shoot and kill because they do not know who we are. So we just got to duck down away from the revolver shots. We're now going to be getting our first like major tool, which is kind of like this like hacking tool, hacking device sort of thing that's going to help us to get through doors. So very nice device, but it's busted. So we got to try to find ways to be able to repair it and fix the security access tuner. Now we're going this way because we are able to go get some loot. There is a way to be able to go the other way, but this is just a safer bit. Now, you may have saw me go a little bit faster in that little section there. Now we introduced a brand new speedrun tech, which is called sprint bursting. So roughly like every second, like I'm doing now, you want to like tap the shift button or whatever your run button is bound to, and doing that slight burst is going to give you an extra like boost in your step, but it doesn't change like, you know, your actual walking speed. It just like nudges you a little bit more forward. Once again, and allows strats, and it's actually beneficial for a lot of the run. Now we can actually press A over this chair, get launched over to the other side to actually get a revolver pistol, which is going to be a very needed weapon. Look down, get the key card, and then making our way over towards this direction here, which is actually going to lead us over to hopefully where we initially found the source of the black box recording as well, because there's always data contained in those kind of machines. We're hoping that everything goes right, yeah? Right? This is going to be absolutely fine, right?
La scatola nera. Cosa? Cosa?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So, because the flight recorder, unfortunately, is corrupted, we can't use this at all. So, there may be some more sources for where the information and the data is kept. So, it's just more exploration to see if we can actually find it. Now, there is a kind of a cool glitch that you can do over here as well, which is actually using the P key to kind of like launch your hitbox perspective into a point where you can actually pick up the data cell early, so you don't need to actually do the third door. I can't remember if that is allowed in a no major glitches run, but I don't know. Anyway, we've got the first of the hacking mini games here, so we got to try to basically match the symbols from the order that it gives us. I'm going to be failing a little bit of it potentially. Now, there's a main reason for it, is because the way that my left hand is positioned on this chainsaw controller, sometimes when I try to push up, it might push me up and right, or it might accidentally put me right. So if you see me kind of faffing around with the inputting, I swear it's not my fault. I'm trying my hardest. I'm trying to work around this so much. I'm also moving my C6 direction up. See what I mean? Did it again. There we go. I'm also using my C stick in order to be able to navigate around it to give us like the right signal pathing into it. And that's how I do the minigame. Now, this is the first major presence in game outside of a cutscene of the Xenomorph. So, once again, hi Steve. And I remember the first time I saw this, I was immensely scared seeing this. Like, I'm sure everybody else, like you guys watching, can say that the first time you saw this, your heart just sank. You know, all the anxiety rose up. It's like, oh, God, the Xenomorph's here. Oh. And then when the tail comes down next to you, it's just like more riling up. It's actually very scary when you play this for the first time. And again, Creative Assembly did a fantastic job. It's great to see Creative Assembly back at it again for the sequel. Now, it's interesting as well. For those who may have seen the social media post for the sequel teaser, notice that they didn't call it Alien Isolation 2, right? But just Alien Isolation Sequel. So it's probably going to have a very different name and not just a numerical addition, if that makes sense. We'll find out very soon, hopefully. Anyway, we're going to now try to be able to go towards the, the Seegson Communications area. So we're going to be doing a backup because it's safer. I don't want to take any risks. So here we go. I'm going to try to crouch up this way. So that's technically the last position that the Xenomorph heard was just before I started crouch hopping. And then, careful. Nice, it's up vented, perfect. So at this, why is there a human there alive? Hopefully they don't shoot me. That usually doesn't happen. Okay. Ooh, he dropped. You know what's funny? I've actually got my life split open at the same time. We're actually ahead of my PB. That's hilarious. We saved, within that segment, 56.7 seconds. Nice. Anyway, not like this run's going to be like speed, like, you know, I'm going to use it as a run anyway, because we are going to be taking breaks during this run as well. Seeing as it is quite late for me and self-care as well, we are going to do a break, I think, just after mission 9. So to our producers lurking in the background, just a heads up for first of the breaks. And I think we'll only do one break today, so that's fine. Yeah, cool. Just wanted to make sure that that has been communicated, because I forgot to do that. Now, this is the first time that I'm actually going to be pressing the C button, and the only last time, because we don't even use the tracker at all for this. So we just press the C, look at it once, and that's it. Now we go around and look around for any other loot, see if there's anything of importance. No. We're now gonna this utility door. I forgot the wrong inputting there. That's fine. And then we're gonna move up on our way towards the further navigation of Seeks and Communication. So TLDR of the law point. Amanda is going to be navigating Seeks and Communications and received a motion tracker. You saw it just there. She tries to reactivate the communications before being chased by the Working Joes. New hacking puzzle. Matching in the white bars. That's about it. We're going to try to head to the Simed Tower and try to meet Samuels and Taylor there afterwards. There's more loot here. Now, one problem, as I mentioned earlier on, as I mentioned that there's going to be a lot of loot to go around. If you have too much loot and you're trying to go into the box, when you try to do the button to be able to pick up all, you get stuck in it. So you'll have to try to manually back out. It's fun. Right, so this is Mr. Hughes over here, and this is the friendly Working Joe. And you can see that the friendly Working Joe is not so friendly anymore because they've been reprogrammed in certain ways. More information about that later, but this just proves that they are not very friendly anymore. F in the chats for Mr. Hughes. Oh. Yeah, so now we know that the not so friendly Joes are definitely a threat to human life. So what do? Let's not repeat that same fate that Mr. Hughes went down, right? Pretty much. So we are going to do a few things first. Once again, trying to get all the loot. There's a human over here. And there's a box over here. We're going to then go back to the elevator. And then we're going to have some fun over there. And I think maybe now would be a good time to heal. Even though we're still at half health, we haven't lost anything. It's just a good safety point. So might as well do it. So I'm going to hold my radio menu button. I'm going to go to the med kit. Press my X button, which is the R key on the keyboards. And then I've healed. Perfect. So this bit we got to go fast, and I'll explain it as I'm going through because there's kind of like a set pattern of things that we need to do. So there's going to be an android on our right. The faster you go, as soon as you leave, it won't touch you. Android on the right, it starts moving as soon as we go past it. We don't want to get touched by it, so we just leave. Now, the more distance that we keep away from those androids makes it so that the terminal that we're going to be getting to, normally we would have to do 3 little hacking mini games. For some reason, the back of the terminal just lets us completely bypass it as long as the androids are of a distance away. It's a weird bug, but you know what? We're not going to complain. It's free. It's easy. Skip the cutscene. This is, oh my God, Amanda, like communicating with, getting the first communication with Samuels and Taylor to say, hey, Taylor's not doing too good. We need your help. Get over here quickly. And I'm like, okay, well, I've got to try to deal with these androids, so I'll make my way, but geez, patience, please. Now, there's an android now at the entrance to the elevator, so we're going to try to see if we can get its attention early. No, it's turned around. It's turned back around, way around here, and we're going to be shooting in the chest. Sometimes it just doesn't want to shoot. I've noticed about this controller. But I'll explain what I'll do in just a second, hopefully if it doesn't join us. Oh, okay. So, the reason that we shoot it in the chest is that it then stuns all other androids that are in the same room for about 10 seconds. So if we need to run past like a load of androids, being able to shoot in the chest means that we will not get grabbed like we did there in that sort of like set sequence of seconds. And it's actually going to be very useful later on. Sometimes with this controller, even though when I try my best to be able to shoot, it might be because I'm hitting a certain direction or maybe the left stick has been weird. It just don't want to shoot. But I'm going to do a safety save here because we're technically going to try to make a way back. And the xenomorph is in its active state in the vents. And we could easily get vented. No, this is not Amogus. This is Alien Isolation before you ask. So we're going to try to do the shooting in the chest and hopefully it'll work out. Good. Okay. That's what I mean. So we want to try to do that and it works out perfectly. And I'm going to press the right button to try to think that we're going right. Go to the left. Nice little two-step technique and just make our way out. Back basically the way we came. As I kept on saying, just like Resident Evil, we are going to be trying to reuse a lot of the map of Sebastopol. So you are going to be seeing... You're going to be seeing a bit of the same bit. So yeah. Right. Next bit is that technically the xenomorph is active in this area. So once we get past a certain point, we're not going to be starting to run anymore. We need to start basically sprint bursting from here and out. So we can kind of keep the same speed, but you know, not as fast and still a little bit of silence in our steps. There's a loot over here. Blasting cap. Very nice. We'll be needing that for a pipe bomb later. And I can start running about nowish because they have kind of left the active state and they can't be able to hear us. So that is all good. Whilst we're waiting for the tram to come through to take us over to the next area, which is Assignment Tower, we can do some crafting. So we could probably do another med kit. That'd be great. So let's do that now. Good. I can start putting some other bits in the med kits. As I keep saying, like, if you can kind of like keep your management of your loot, it does help out a lot later on. There we go. Cool. All right. So that is mission 4 done. Fantastic. We are en route. And technically, I saved 28 seconds in that mission. Oh. This is actually quite a nice run, surprisingly. It's quite a nice run. So, mission 5. We are going to be meeting Samuelson Taylor in front of us in a second. I'll give you a little bit of the lore in a second. But as speedrunners, we like to go fast, don't we, right? Sure. However, so there's Samuel's in front of us. He's like, Taylor's over there. She's hurt. Bye.
Ripley. Ripley.
Taylor's is just dying over there, and we're just like, sorry, gotta go fast. It's like, it's hard to think about it, but you know what? We still do have that sort of like care in the background. We just don't show. We're just trying to speed that way. Anyway, right, the lore point. After learning about Taylor's injury in the previous mission, Amanda goes to the medical to try to get a health kit / trauma kit. We're going to be encountering another human by the name of Coolman. And Coolman, we'll talk about him a little bit later. There's a little bit more going on. We'll get there very soon as well. But we got to try to get to Coolman first. And I'll tell you a little bit more about him soon. There was a bit of loot there, but that's only a flashlight battery. So we don't need to worry about that. Also, excuse me, my voice is going a little bit. Been talking a lot today, so I'm taking a day off tomorrow, but it's definitely on its way out. So for the most part, as I mentioned, we can definitely do that peek glitch that I mentioned earlier on, but as I said, I don't have the peek button. We just have to take the animation of us standing up. It's fine. It's only like a second of time loss. It's not a big deal. It's fine. So down we go. And we're now going to be running through to our first instance of Coolman. And Coolman is basically going to say, hey, well, I can help you out, but guess what? You need to do something for me as well. Where did we hear this before? Oh, yeah, that guy called Axel. Unfortunately, Dr. Coolman, K-U-L-H-M-A-N, he's a bit of a cool guy, but a bit of an annoying person. He wants us to go and try and find the passcode for the door so that he can go and find a few things. And, like, we also got to try to get a key card to try to get him to, like, you know, to get some more access in his way. So, once again, we scratch his back, and he gives us basically nothing in return. So, you know, people are so kind to Sebastopol, genuinely. I'm going to need to drink some water in a bit. So, there is a point where I might be able to have a sippy of water, but for the most part. We got another hacking mini game here, so let's see if I can do this quickly. Yep, and there we go. Perfect. Now, you see that I'm pressing the button a lot, like, even though I've solved the puzzle. The reason for that is, I think it's actually been determined that, so we need to go to this one here specifically, and it gives us the code number. It is 1702. We're also going to, I'll go back to my point in a second. We're going to get this, like, pool of camera animation towards where the xenomorph is going to be dropping down. If you press the right mouse button and leave, then you can actually just, oh boy. I need to do that fast. I had to stop there for a second because if you do it slow enough, the xenomorph will catch up to you as you're entering the code and you will just die. Also, whilst we're trying to run through the section, if you're slow enough, then the xenomorph will actually patrol in the vents in this way and can kill you there. So I needed to try to make sure I fix my mistakes so that I can still be within the same, you know, that kind of period of time where I can move. Everything's fine. Now, definitely pick up that blueprint. That is going to be for the pipe bomb, which we will need to start putting loot into, and everything is fine. I won't lie, that actually set a bit of nerves down my spine. In all my other practices, I managed to just about do it, but it's been the first time I failed it because, again, you can see that the way that, like, I'm trying to press up and down, sometimes it just doesn't translate well because, again, my hand is in a weird position and stuff like that. It's fine. So, we got in the passcode, but he never told us about the fact that there was a xenomorph in the vents there. So we found it the hard way, didn't we? Thanks, Coolman. Much obliged. Now, there we go. That's exactly what I meant. You saw that we got too many charge packs, so I couldn't just pick it up. So I have to press the Q button to back out of the radio menu, and then I can start moving on. It's annoying, so I've got to try to find ways in order to be able to use the charge packs, which I don't think we have at the moment. Now, Coolman's going to try to... Oh, no. Oh, this is a first. This is the bug that can... Oh, whoa, enough. Can I still get over there? Oh, I'm out of bounds now. I might have to, oh, we're going down. We go, oh. This is a known bug that can happen in the game, by the way. Whee!
It all worked out, huh?
It worked out, yeah.
That's the important part.
Yeah. What on earth? Sometimes the FPS can just drop there randomly, and it's just a quirk of the game. I can't believe I managed to save that. I genuinely thought I might have had to reset and do all of that mission again, but that's fine. Whatever. So I do need to focus up for a little bit here because this is a very sort of like you got to do things very, very quickly thing. And the xenomorph is active and patrolling, so we need to be kind of stealthy. We got to try to get these coolants done. Activate the cooling system in the area. Go over to the right-hand side. Get this little coolant here. Turn around. Go over this way. Get ready to get our flare as well. So I'm going to pull that up ready now. Put the coolant in. Activate them. Loot around just in case. And we're going to be trying to activate a flare so that we can try to get the attention of it when the xenomorph is dropping in a second. So there's one over there. And we also now need to reroute power. This is one of the things that you can do in the game as well, but it's important so that we can move to the next area. So get rid of the air purification, go to the vent access, press Q, or the start pause button on my controller here. And then we're going to try to press up on my D-pad, which is now bound to the revolver. And then we're going to shoot a bullet to try to say, hey, we're actually down here. So you're going to hear the xenomorph drop in a moment. God, that was so weird, wasn't it? That FPS weirdness. Oh my God. I'm going to be clipping that and posting on social tomorrow, probably. So yeah, the reason I'm doing that is that we can now try to, like, you know, casually peruse this area without the xenomorph really being much of a bother. So, yeah, perfect. So if we could technically run if we want to, but I'm still going to play it safe with the sprint bursting again, so that we're mostly silent. Mostly silent. Again, we're still adding a tiny bit of, like, you know, sound in our steps, but it's nothing that the xenomorph is really going to be able to, you know, pay due attention to. Ooh, blasted cap. Molotov, good. The code here is 2505. So for those wondering, yes, the codes are static all the way through the game, so you don't need to worry about any RNG there. Yep, there we go. That's the weirdness going on. That was the weirdness going on with the controller. That's what I mentioned. So there was a true evidence of it there. So don't worry. It's not just me. This controller's a controller. Right, so Able's going to start running soon because we've kept the Xenomorph all the way over that way. They're not really going to be able to know where we are. So... Excuse me whilst I shut up for a moment.
Samuels, ogni lucinale.
Siamo alla stazione della navetta fuori dalla reception del centro medico. Ripley, abbiamo sentito degli spari e li avrà sentiti anche quella bestia.
Okay. Ah. That was some scary sounds. Normally the Xenomorph would not be making us such a scary sounds as like that and try to make themselves present and aware. I played it as safe as I could. Okay, that was weird. Anyway. Huh. I wonder how the escape is going to be here. Also, I'll catch up to the lore in just a hot second as well. There is some lore that I can explain, but I'm a little bit conscious at the moment. Now, the Xenomorph is in our vent. Be careful, by the way. There's an android now active, so we've got to try to be a little bit stealthy around here. And I'm going to try to start crafting towards a pipe bomb. Pipe bomb is very important right now, so... Oh, we don't have enough. Okay, that's fine. Good enough. Right, so we're going to be leaving from this point here. And go. Can I pick this up? I can. Good. Alvin, did you play this game before? So this was my main speedrun for a while. So I was definitely playing this like at least like 4 times a week, I think, or something like that. But obviously, mostly variety streaming now. But I do pick this game up from time to time, special events or as a way to showcase and debut brand new controllers alongside games like Undertale. So this is like an all-time classic. I do remember a lot about this run. Sometimes things will go well, things will not go well. It is such the nature of this game. Also, this is going to be a never presence cutscene of the Xenomorph. So, hi, Steve. So we've reactivated all the power here, but there's a reason that the power was turned off beforehand, because that's why they shut it off. So because we turned the power back on, there was a leak there somewhere, and then boom, dynamite. Everything's up in fire, everything's exploding, so what we need to do is find a way to get out of Dodge. Now, I still laugh about it to this day, so I'm sure everybody else has also experienced this while playing the game. When do gamers ever look up, right? You lot probably died many, many times here trying to find and leave, trying to find an exit, trying to find a way to leave. And then it's like, oh yeah, you know that ladder that was on the floor? That's usually an indicator of like something broken fell. So maybe we need to look up and there's the ladder that we go up from. I think it took me about 7 times to finally figure out, oh yeah, gamers look up. This game really does it to me. So I think it was actually mentioned to me earlier on, Bine, for normal non-controller, like weird controller stuff. Excuse me. My novice, I think my novice time is like a 2-hour 47 load remove time, and my nightmare run is a 2:55. On this controller here, my load remove time personal best that I got today was a 3 hour and 5 minutes. Again, this is not an easy controller to play with. So, I don't know what my DJ deck speedrun is, but I think it might be just under 3 hours, but there's a lot of user control in that one. There is an approved steering wheel speedrun on speedrun.com, but I can't remember what the run time for that one was, and I think it was around maybe 250-ish. Maybe. I've run this game a lot. I've run a lot of like the other categories like any percent CC, which is crouch clipping. Also, sorry, lore. A man that navigates the lower hospital area and escapes with a close encounter from a Xeno in a trap set by Marshall. Wait, so it wasn't a trap. No, it wasn't a leak. It was a trap. Find the Summerton, which we did. Get the passcode and encounter synthetics, which we did. Now, we are on to mission 7. This is where I'm going to be taking a lot of focus here because this is like the major point of resetability in any form of speedrun of this game. It can go right. It can go horribly wrong. It has never really gone right in my run, so I am hopeful for this GDQ presentation that it will go relatively right. The first thing we've got to try to do is that we've got to try to run past the humans to try to make them alert, make them aware of us. Try to shoot our way a few times to try to make them think, oh yeah, we need to go and explore that way. Save and reload after we get a security access tuner upgrade. And then hope that they're all in the same area so that we can then basically kill them all at the same time, basically. So here goes. Let's hope. Okay, that's one shot. That's 2 shots. Okay. Here's hoping that it all worked out. Here's hoping. Oh, good. Goodbye, Viv. Have a good sleep, bud. Okay, now I will need to go to my keyboards here because, again, I do not have any inputs for this on my controller. Save and reload. Okay, here we go. Let's hope it worked. Let's hope. There is one coming. That is good enough. Still problematic, but that's good enough. He's going to open the door for us. Very nice. That killed him. Good. All right. Normally we want all 3 there, but, you know, even if it's one, we got to try and now find a way around the other 2, but we'll figure it out. What I could probably do is medkit before I go, whack them so that they don't become a problem, and then that should be fine. So just before I activate the button here, I might just do a medkit. Let's do that. Okay, medkits. Molotov. Yes, okay, I'm going to do that right now as well. Because in case the xenomorph makes our way, then we've actually got something that we can use. I'll keep the Molotov up just in case. I forgot to uncrouch there. That's fine. Now here comes the escape.
Guardate bene, abbiamo un assassino!
That went great. Oh, that went as good as it could have done. Honestly, with just the one human, I am perfectly fine with that. And again, that is where runs can go rip, honestly. And I didn't have to do any, like, you know, deaths or saves there. So that went probably the best I've done over the course of 2 days of relearning and practicing this run. Cool. Happy with that. Happy. There is a little skip that you can do right here to get to the immediately to the top. Hard to do on the honest controller here, so that's fine. But anyway, this is a massive time save. Technically, would be in my actual run, and I can tell you in the background that I'm kind of doing this run in the background. I'll be able to tell you exactly how much time I saved, which is, drumroll please. Okay, it's a gold split actually. Ooh. 1 minute and 35 seconds of time saved. So that just goes to show it can go any kind of way. And without any deaths or anything like that, I saved over 1 minute and 30 seconds. Perfect. Oh, I'm happy about that. Good. Right, so now that we got an upgrade to the Access Tuner, puzzles have got an extra glyph. So we're now going to hack 4 instead of 3, basically. I should probably catch up with Laura in a second, shouldn't I? So let me catch up. Let's have a look, see. Amanda arrives in Caesar's FedEx after avoiding the debris of Waite's trap. She has to repair an elevator to continue to go back to Taylor, sneak past the human enemies, and power up the requisition androids to get a requisite compression cylinder. We did not need to power up the requisition androids because the other guy opened up the door for us, but we did get a compression cylinder and made our way out. Now that we are on mission 8, we met back up with Taylor and Samuels, who are now with Marshall Waits, as we saw. And Ricardo. Ricardo's a nice person. And Ricardo's a nice person. I was thinking about the first person that we met as Mr. Hughes, not Marshall Waits. Yep. Amanda's going to try to restart the tram systems so that Taylor can be taken to the Marshall HQ. And we're going to try to use a new tool that we're going to be getting momentarily. So now we're going to be using a flare again because we're going to be doing another strat to try to make the androids here and the human interact with each other so that the android will then kill the human there. So we're going to try to throw the flare in a position. Hopefully that will work out splendidly. So let's see what happens. We've got a few actions to do. Try to activate the terminal here. Not enough power, so we've got to try to redistribute power over here again. So we flow this switch over here. Go over to the computer in the far corner over to our left. Crouch hop our way in a moment, so that the human is only aware of the flare and not of us. Ooh, I see ethanol over there. Nice. And this will now give it enough power to be able to start reactivating it. So here we go. So there you go. You can see that the android is nice backwards fall there. I'm going to try to get my stun baton up in a second. So I'm going to try to do that now super quickly before I grab this. Whack it, and then I'll grab a cutting torch. Good, so that is the android down. We do get some random loots for the stun baton charges, but it's not an always guaranteed thing, so that's like the first instance of where you really are going to be able to use your stun baton. There is one other instance in mission 17. If you get lucky, you get lucky. Imagine on Nightmare, the chance of getting another stun baton charge is very minimal, so again, we are blessed by novice loot RNG that we can get all the things and everything. But yes, with the cutting torch, there are three stages towards like the upgrades for, technically 2 upgrades that we can get, which is this is the normal cutting torch. It's like a gas torch. We're going to get the iron torch afterwards, and then I think it's the plasma torch afterwards. I think. Don't quote me. My brain. But as you can imagine, when we get the better upgrades, we can actually cut through these a little bit quicker. Once we get to the final upgrade, it's literally like a breeze being able to cut through it, so it makes it a lot easier. Now, I got reminded about this by another speedrunner earlier on. In Nightmare, normally we have to shoot the stairs so that the humans won't be able to become like a threat to us. But because we are a novice and their bullets won't really do much damage to us, we can just whack all the enemies and just kill them, and we can actually get a lot of loot out of them. So it's actually kind of beneficial to do that. So we're going to try to activate the tram now that the transit system is back and active, to try to go over to the Solomon's Habitation Tower, or Habitation Tower, same thing. And we're going to go up here quickly. There are humans, I think, up here, I believe. Yes. And then 1, 2. Where are you over there? Okay. I didn't see you there. All right, so I'm going to need to heal afterwards. And now just loot our way through all of these dead people. Perfect. Oh, actually, hold on. There we go. See, sometimes I actually have to navigate to the specific entries if the first one doesn't work out. Lovely. Cool. So we got a good amount of loot. Perfect. And we actually do have a stun baton charge, so I'm going to load that one up quickly. Awesome. And I'm going to use a medkit now because we are a lot of health. I'm going to craft a medkit as well. Also, when you're in that point of you know, like it says like crafting is completed. The only thing that you need to do is just press Q to back out, and it makes it go a lot quicker. Right, so from this point here, we're now on our way back towards the Marshall HQ. The Marshal Waste is going to tell us kind of what's been going on and like what's kind of happening. Why is everything in disarray? Why is that person in the holding cell? Which will lead us into Mission 9, which is basically like a big auto walking section. It's a big downtime section, so it gives us plenty of time to do any kind of plugs. It gives us time to, like, you know, just take a load off. It's been kind of hectic in this run. That Mission 5, whatever it was, Mission 4, was super wild with the FPS bugs, so I'm still on my way of trying to calm down after that anyway. Make sure you go back and watch the run because that FPS bug was so weird. Right, one more bit of loot to get here just to see if there's anything inside of here. There was some good loot. And then talk to the Marshal, a few more exhibition of loot, and then it's chill time. Then it's the chill zone. For those who love the Alien franchise and the Alien lore, you're going to have a field day with this. If you've not seen this game, you're going to be like, oh, I get it. Well, I'll explain it a little bit, but for the most part, we've got to wait for a very specific dialogue line here, which is Bastardi. Oh, excuse me. And then that's kind of a big cue for us to be able to go press that button there to talk to Marlowe. Now I'm going to drink water.
Quel figlio di puttana non vuole darci I codici di comando per avvicinarla qui automaticamente. Magari puoi provare tu a convincere quel bastardo inutile.
There it is.
Va a parlare con lui.
Hit the button, and Marlowe's going to basically say, hey, I've got some information, but I won't tell you. But wait, my mother is Ellen Ripley. Wait, the Ellen Ripley? All right, I'll tell you. That's literally the only kind of, like, you know, the convincing line of like, hey, oh wait, I actually knew your mother. Go on, I'll tell you. So, and then we're now going to go into a flashback into Marlowe's perspective, and we're going to be on the planet LV-426, which again is what Alien Day is. I know that we're a little bit outside of Alien Day, but this is the best day that we can do it. It is dice as usual. Speedruns from the Crypt Day. So again, happy belated Alien Day. And with that, Ecdysis, I think now's some good time for some plugs, my friend.
Sounds good. Let's see what we have. What is happening in the GDQ airwaves? Well, I guess in general for social media stuff. For one, if anyone does want to catch up on past GDQ Hotfix shows and marathons, you can find that at youtube.com/gamesdonequick. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, consider liking, subscribing, and becoming a channel member. Support GDQ. As well, looking to get more involved with the GDQ community, we have the official Games Done Quick Discord, the Hotfix role to get updates on upcoming events, chat with staff, and more. You can use !Discord and Twitch chat for an invite and more info on that. And I guess just a general thing for the run. So, after the chainsaw controller, do you have any other wacky controller plans coming on up?
Too many.
Well, something more immediate, I suppose.
So I next week am starting to make, you know, those little extendo grabby claw hand thingamajiggies, right? Like they use for like picking up objects at a bit of a distance. Yeah. Yeah. Making 2 of those for Devolver Digital. I'm making them as actual controllers. So I'm probably actually going to be bringing them with me to Japan to bring to Bit Summit. So hopefully everything will go well and I'll be able to make them. But that is my next one. After that, one of my community members gifted me a Tamagotchi Paradise, which I'm going to try to convert into a game controller. Maybe I can, I don't know, speedrun Super Mario Brothers or something like that on it. Outside of that, I've also got a stylophone. The little thing that you hear them go do 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 do. Let's go, that meme. I've got Morse code transceivers, so the little things of the beep 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 beep. I've got a BlackBerry Bold. I don't know how well the BlackBerry Bold is going to do, but we'll see about it. But I think for the controllers that I have currently within my arsenal right now, that I want to do more with also, is this Nokia 3310. So, let me talk to you a little more about that, because this is going to be a fun thing that's going to probably want the help out of people. There's only one extra thing that we need to do towards the 3310 controller, which is adding gyroscopic and accelerometer data into it. So that's the last thing that we're doing. And basically, I've got my friend Has RPG, who's been working on making a custom PCB like motherboard that we replace like the internals, and we use our own kind of like custom PCB which operates the phone. Once we do that, I've been asked to do a specific event in October to speedrun Elden Ring on a Nokia 3310. Just let that sink in for a little bit. It is going to be very, 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 very interesting. But again, I've been contracted, so I've got to start learning the run as soon as like everything's working. I'm going to try to learn all about Elden Ring because I don't know everything about Elden Ring, but I've always wanted to learn an Elden Ring speedrun, and hopefully I'll be able to do it. Hopefully. Time will soon tell. We've got plenty of time. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can do right now. Any other controllers that I have at the moment? I mean, I'm always on the lookout for weird devices and controllers. So if anybody ever has any like gadgets that they want to send me, or any kind of like suggestions for things that I can work on, I guess you can come to my channel and go, oi, what about this, right? What about this? Can you phone a friend if he's struggling with Elden Ring? Sure. I'm probably going to try to ask some people to like, you know, give me some speedrun guidance. Like, I'm sure there's some valid people like Dr. Doot, or I think like Aggie, for example, who are really good at it. I'm sure I can rope them into some fun collaborative speedrun learning and stuff like that. We'll see what happens. All right, so yeah. All right, well, I think we can talk a bit more about the lore now. So we're playing as a Marlowe in a flashback on the planet LV-46, and we learn about how the Xenomorph got onto the vessel in the first place. We're going to go over to this vessel over here, which is actually the derelict, to be able to find where the distress beacon is. We've got to try to turn that off, and then try to find more about what's going on inside of the derelict as well. Do I have a normal job, asks Bine? This is my full-time affair. Outside of full-time content creation, I do graphic design on the background for dedicated music industry clients. And I'm slowly getting back into the DJ scene for house music and tech house music. And I've actually got my first gig in properly 8 years on Saturday over in Reading, UK, which is actually kind of cool. So I used to be in the music industry before I started content creation. I used to do, God, here's the list. Sorry for my self-bragging rights for a second. Graphic design, photography, videography, two-time record label owner, blog owner, DJ, music producer, yeah. I used to do a lot. You can understand the burnouts. But since I left the music industry back in 2018, I've been basically doing this initially part-time and then full-time, and full-time is coming up to nearly, I think, about 6 or 7 years. So yeah, there you go. This is a little bit more about me. Again, like I'm an open book, if I can say my words correctly. Again, it is now nearly 4 a.m. If you ever want to find out more, I'll go a little bit more into specifics, not on GDQ, I'll do it in my channel, stuff like that. But anyway, let's just say that moving over to the streaming industry has been the best thing that I've done, and I've made so many cool friends and done many cool things, like playing Alien Isolation on the chainsaw controller. Hooray! No, did I? Oh, don't tell me that I said the dreaded numbers. Oh, no. God damn it. Anyway, we're inside the derelict now. And in this little section here, we're going to be looking at, which I believe the name of it is called the Navigator. And then we're going to be seeing traces of the Nostromo crew nearby alongside some tracks. So there's people here. There were people here prior, but, you know, it is. Your words not mine. Don't call me out like that, Bishop. Don't you call me out like that. No, that's mean. It's mean. So yeah, mission 9 is the only mission where we do not play as like Amanda Ripley and only as Marlowe. So this is kind of like the slowest mission. It's a flashback, you know, it's a massive lore point. This is a speedrunner's like, you know, sort of like snooze fest. We can just grind for a little bit. It's fine. The funny thing is, there is actually RNG in this mission here, and it is exactly this point. So I can't remember exactly the name over here. I don't know if it's Heist. I think it might be somebody else, but they're going to start making their way over, and you can see that they're at a bit of a moderate pace. When they get over to like their final sort of like stepping point, it could be at the point where the dialogue ends, or they just decide to go backwards or over that way. So then they have to like walk backwards and actually forwards to us again, and they can actually lose time. So all depending when the dialogue ends here. Actually landed on a good point. RNG actually worked out quite well. Cool. Only in a GDQ run does RNG sometimes go right, right? Yeah. So now that we're getting another lift up here, we're now going to be going over to the distress beacon, which is a very weird alien-like looking thing. We try to put our hand on it, it goes, and that's about it. And in the meantime, whilst we're doing our little thing over here to like sort out a distress beacon, they're going to be setting over a winch over there to try to go further exploring the inner depths of the derelict. And that's going to be a very fun sight. I won't spoil it just yet for those who haven't seen it, but it definitely explains why Marlowe only really wanted to tell us about what happened in the flashback, because it's, as I mentioned earlier on for the lore, it explains how the xenomorphs got onto Sevastopol in the first place. After this mission ends, we are going to be taking a short break as well. It'll probably be within about a minute or two, maybe a little bit from here. Probably about a minute from now, so probably about like a few minutes, just so that I can stand up and stretch, because we're going to be going hard and heavy very soon afterwards. Mission 10 is basically balls to the walls at the moment, so I'll be trying to do as much talking as I can, explaining all the things, try to tell you about like the 3 major parts of Mission 10 alone. It can go right, it can go absolutely wrong. Mission 3, the third part can definitely go wrong, so I'm hoping it'll go right. I'm hoping it'll go okay, so wish me all the luck in a moment. Alright, so the winch is active and set up, and we'll be grinding down that in a moment. I actually wrote down it's actually a perfect time for a pre-break, but it's not really. It's like, I think it's like just under a minute. So I might need to scrub that note out, honestly. Now, I remember when I was first running this, I always had issue actually being able to, like, you know, target my cursor on the winch. It was always a weird thing, but like you just had to look down a tiny bit basically, and that's all you had to do. So easy peasy. We're on our way down, we're chilling, and down we go. Play the elevator music, maestro, please. And as we're going down, it is quite a cool scene, honestly. It is quite a cool scene because you're seeing all the kind of like, you know, the alien-like structures and, you know, all the stalactites and whatever they are. I think it's stalactites. And then you get the undercovering of the underside, and then just the amount of the alien eggs there just present. It's nerve-wracking. In the actual cutscene that we're going to be skipping, you can see that they're trying to investigate the eggs. They don't know what they are, how to activate it. Then you see one of the eggs opening. There it goes. It actually, the facehugger comes out, latches onto one of the people. Then the scene goes black. But that is how it was brought on board in the first place to Sevastopol. So this is kind of like the how, the reason, the why is because somebody got infected. They didn't know what to do. That's it. Right. And we're skipping, and we are now at a point we're going to be taking a break, and I will call pause in a second. And let's call pause. Pause. There we go. Pause.
Sounds good. All right. And with that, we're going to take a... All right, everyone. Welcome back to the break. Thank you for sticking with the run here. As you may know, with longer runs such as this, it's kind of nice to be able to stand up and stretch your legs. They can get quite long. Anyway, on your mark, pretty much, Nico, I count it down whenever you're ready, and we can go right back in.
Sounds good. Right, 3, 2, 1, go. All righty, and we are back into Mission 10. First thing we've got to do, loot around, and we've got to wait for our friend here to be able to finish a dialogue. There is a way to make him stop talking, which is throwing a smoke bomb, but I'm not going to bother because I don't really care about a smoke bomb in this run. And we're going to be getting our favorite weapon of the game, which is the flamethrower, which xenomorphs do not like fire. So it's going to be a very beneficial tool. Best way to speed us up here is to go pick up the flamethrower and then go out the door, and that will start the dialogue of our friend of Marshall Waits over here, basically. So let's go do that. Done. Once we have activated the dialogue, we're going to do some more looting around to see if there's anything else that we need. That's fine. And that is all good there. Now, probably I'm going to craft a few things just before we go, and then I'll give you a bit of the breakdown of the lore momentarily. But yes, welcome back, everybody, to the rest of the run. We've got mission 10 to mission 19 to go. So about 10, we'll say about 10 missions or something like that. I think, yeah, 9 missions including this one. Yeah, about 10 more missions left. When we get up to around mission 15, there is a bit of a pee break that I can take. We won't be taking a pause at that point. We'll just be going all the way through from this point up till now. So it's going to be about, let's say about 2 hours-ish more run. It's going to be awesome. Oh yeah, I need to go around and loot from this point as well, because we're waiting for the tram to be able to come through to take us over back into like the main sort of area of Sebastopol, and there's going to be a lot of stuff going on here. So again, try to be as equipped as we can before we go through. Okay, we don't need the bonding agent. Don't need whatever that is. Blasting cap we don't need. We do need the compound B, I think it was. Nothing there. There's one more box we can look at, which is just over to our left. Anything in here? Nothing. I love it. I was going to say something, but nope. And I think there's one other item here. We don't need that. Okay. Is there anything I can craft super quickly? Let's have a look. See, pipe bomb I can. So let's get that crafted. All right. So we're going to need that pipe bomb from a little bit later, but definitely important. So we're on our way back towards to the Lawrence side, takes fire. And here is a bit of the lore. So the player is going to now try to trap the xenomorph and try to eject it out of a detachable lab, which is known as a KG-348. Marshall Waits has their own agenda and tries to, you know, get rid of all evidence, and we'll explain a little bit more about that later on. So there are 3 parts now to this bit. Excuse me, my voice is giving way at the moment. There is like some other speedrun strategy you can do here to make sure that the xenomorph does not even, like, you know, follow us, and you can try to make sure that the xenomorph goes over that way. But kind of a backup route that we're doing right now is just basically sprint bursting our way through here. And once we get past this little divot on the floor here, it's going to be a good point that we can run. A good way to be able to determine where the xenomorph is with our motion tracker, but we're not really using the motion tracker at all during this run, so there's just no worry there. We can pick up that revolver there. It's going to give us some more revolver bullets. And now we're going to try to do some more, like, you know, turning on the power and making our way through, because I thought that was just over to our right in that little cubby hole bit. We need to turn the power on to make that door active so that we can go into Gemini is what it's called. So, remember that we were down here earlier on, and I mentioned about the fact that just like Resident Evil reuses a lot of the maps and the ways. Here's the evidence points. Now, we are going to be doing a safety save momentarily, because this is where it can go pear-shaped again, and I'd rather it not go pear-shaped. So, let's do the safety save. And good. So, now that we've done that, I'm going to start running from here. I'm actually going to get my flamethrower up and ready. It's already active. Good. So, next objective, seal of the stairwell. So, we have to turn 3 of the little kind of like turning device thingamajiggies, I forget what they're called, to try to... shut up for a bit. The xenomorph is active. Alright, so let's talk about that for a second. So you saw that I did like some very short flame bursts. You want to do 3 short flame bursts so you can preserve fuel, and that's all that you need in order to be able to up-vent the xenomorph at that point. So that way you don't have to waste loads and loads of fuel, like trying to, like, you know, like, scary. Nah, just 3 like little taps, and that's all you need to do. So with the xenomorph being in this state right now, I'm going to be very cautious about what I'm doing. So seems fine for now. So that's the 3rd one. All right, so now we're going to try to lock off that room there because it'll stop the xenomorph from coming through and any other androids. Good. Not going to bother about the loot there again. We got a lot of loot right now, so we don't need to worry. Wait for the dialogue to finish before we go left here because otherwise it'll actually crash the game. We don't want that. Pick up the noisemaker. I'm going to do another safety save here because, again, another chance of it potentially going wrong. And when we go back through this, what? Speaking of. Oh my god, that's scary. I was like, where is it going? There is a vent literally just there, but I didn't know which direction it was. Oh my god, that's actually kind of nerve-wracking. Okay. Now there's another hacking minigame over here. Let's hope that the xenomorph's not going to drop. We're fine. There's a drop, but as soon as we're in here, xenomorph is not going to be able to really get into here, so we don't need to worry. Okay. This hacking minigame. Good. We got to do a couple more things here, which is engaging the sort of like the override on the door here to be able to close it. Waiting for the end of the dialogue here and waiting for the down vent of the xenomorph. Can you leave? Remember that the android sees that you're doing weird things, it's going to try to target us, so leave. Good, thank you. Wouldn't want him to become active there either, so we got to hit this thing here twice. Then crouch up our way over here because it's going to try to bring the xenomorph over to the last source of noise and then go back in its patrolling state. Okay, so I'm going to start crafting another pipe bomb. Good. Come on, there we go, good. Put some stuff into a Molotov. We might need one for later. Make some med kits. Good. Okay, that should be enough. And we're going to do another safety save in a second. Don't like that. Don't like that. Everything's fine, question mark? Okay, I heard it up and there, so this may go a bit pear-shaped. Let's find out. So now we're going to try to go and make our way over towards the now active door for Gemini with the risk of the xenomorph dropping. So let's see, let's see. There. All right. Now there's going to be a few humans on the way here. We don't need to worry about them too much because they won't take off too much damage, I believe. Whoa, that's the first. I'm not going to say this never happened before, but it's been a long time since they've actually have been able to kill me there. So go figure. Anyway, first death in the run, I think. Yeah, first death in the run. Hilarious. Normally they don't attack us too much there, but the revolver guns are very trigger happy, so normally there's only one person in the way there. Okay. Okay, I can see one human over there, that's fine. Yeah, see, that's what I wanted to happen. Don't know what else to enemies, again, there's RNG usually happens, that's fine. All right, into the second part of mission 10 here. So we are now on our way over to Gemini, and this one we're going to try to do very, very quickly, because we need to start making our way directly over towards to get the upgrade for the cutting torch, which is the ion upgrade, I think it is. Once we've got the ion upgrade, the camera is going to be, the CCTV is going to be in a very specific position. So we want to go over towards the way to open up a panel. And because we're opening up the panel, the CCTV won't actually recognize that we are there. So we can actually do that super quickly. So here we go. Now we're going to sprint burst over towards the panel quickly. There we go. And you can see that we're now cutting a lot faster. That's right. For those who only just come in and be like, oh, wait, the chainsaw controller, the Resident Evil 4 one? It is the GameCube version of the controller. I wish I had the PlayStation 2 controller, but one of my community members were very kind and gracious and went, oh yeah, I just have a GameCube controller. No cable, so you have to make your own, but do you want it? So I was like, absolutely, yes, absolutely. Who wouldn't say no to a chainsaw controller, right? All right, so the xenomorph may drop in a second. It's more than likely that they're gonna, so I'm gonna wait here for a sec. There we go. We want to upvent it and continue running. We want to kind of keep it in patterns. The patterns that we're trying to set it in is mostly for nightmares, so they won't always translate as best. But, you know, if it works, right? It's the main thing. Turn on my flashlight by accident. That's fine. The A button is it's close to the X button. Go figure. Cool. Yep, I was expecting that. Yeah, that can happen. If you're a little bit like out of sync with that, the CCTV camera can. All right. Cool. See how this goes then. Good. Where's he dropping? Okay, behind us. That's fine. He's gonna upvent and he might be coming over to here in a second, so I might have to get ready to flame burst. Yike. Now, see, if I didn't move that gas canister, I probably could have shot him with a revolver bullet, but you know what? I accidentally ran into it. It's fine. Whatever. Okay. Once again, we're going to do yet another safety save because this could go definitely wrong, and it has gone wrong quite a few times. We're now going to be moving over to our pipe bomb, and we're going to be doing a very specific thing in a second as well. So, radio menu, move over to the pipe bomb. Oh boy, why are you there? Yikes. I'm going to be quiet for a second. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, interesting. That went really well, actually. Go figure. Normally, the xenomorph should have gone like, oh, hey, that was a big explosion. Maybe I'll run over there and then go find the person who made the source. It was just in its patrolling state. Oh! I love when things work out like that. Sure thing. Gotta love the AI of Alien Isolation sometimes in the way that the xenomorph has 2 AI patterns. Gotta love it. It works out fine. Cool. So now we're into the third part, and this is KG348. So again, our main MO was to try to get the xenomorph onto this detachable lab, keep it in there, and then we obviously get out of there and press the button to detach it. Hopefully that'll go swimming right. Now, when the dialogue ends, that's when the xenomorph becomes in its active state. So once we do that, we need to then go into the sprint bursting mode. So that's why I've stopped running at that point. I'm going to try to get the attention of the xenomorph by doing a gunshot and then trying to whack the side of a door. Because this is novice, the xenomorph may not be able to become active. So if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'll be able to, like, you know, do backup strats and stuff like that. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see. So, okay then. Get to my revolver. Shoot. See if that did it. No. Nah. Novice for you. He was supposed to drop right there. He didn't, so it's fine. But I have a feeling he's now very much in his patrolling state. All right. That's fine. By the way, don't turn your back to the xenomorph. He can grab you and stab you, so don't do that. I'm going to do another safety save over here. I'll be quiet for a moment just so that I can do this.
Vedo un picco di tensione. Ora ricollega i sistemi del laboratorio a Sevastopol dal terminale.
Sounded like it's going to drop there.
Contiamo su di te, Ripley.
Fuoriuscita di materiali pericolosi individuati.
Good, okay. Now I just got to run my way to the door and that should work out. So let's hope that he doesn't drop again because I'm a little bit low on flame fuel. Flamer? Yeah, flame fuel. Flame fuel. That's what I'm looking for. I was very cautious about that because if he's close enough to you in the animation and he's in his running state, he could actually kill you mid-animation and then you have to do the whole thing over again. Thankfully, he was a bit of a distance away, so it didn't become too much of a stress, but that is another way it could go wrong, is that he could technically kill you in this animation state, which, not great, right? Not great. Outside of that, we just need to try to find a way to be able to leave, because, as I was mentioning, that things might go pear-shaped in a sense of the law. Marshall Wace has their own agenda, so what they've done is, like, they're trying to get rid of all evidence. Us included. So we're currently now just spiraling in space. Thankfully the gravity's turned on in here, but you know, it's not good. It's not good. So we've got to try to get outside of the air, like go into the airlock, try to put on the spacesuits, try to, you know, try to leave so we can hopefully go from the spinning cagey figure array back to Sevastopol and keep the xenomorph on here. So all we're going to try to do is not die. You know, that works out, right? Wait, is he looking at us then? No, it's the back of his head. I can never tell the front or the back of the head of the xenomorph. Okay, so he's leaving now. That's fine. Good. And there we go. The airlock is now pressurized. We can go through. We can trap the xenomorph in by pressing the button here. And quickly getting his space in because... Get it on, get it on, get it on! We're going to speak to him in a cutscene. TLDR, they got on board. It's fine. Amanda's a damn beast of a character in this game. They have survived everything. So we managed to get back onto Sevastopol now. And obviously we've got some choice words with Marshall Wace, as you can so imagine, right? Because, you know... Why did you try to eject us? Did you even care to consult me? What was your agenda? How dare you? So yeah, we're gonna be having some stern words, which I'm gonna just not say it over this bit.
Sei tu.
Sono io, figlio di puttana! Mi hai chiuso dentro! Hai impedito il laboratorio nello spazio!
Non avevo scelta, nessuna scelta. Hai visto quella cosa? Hai visto cosa può fare? Dovevo allontanarla dalla stazione con ogni mezzo necessario.
Sì! Usando me come esca! Sacrificandomi!
E ha funzionato.
What a piece of poo-poo, am I right? What a piece of dirt. Nobody likes Marshall Wace now. So, because of that, we're going to try to regroup and actually get back to everybody, but, you know, choice-wise that. Now, oh, this is bad. I'm going to get my revolver out. Yeah, okay. Ooh, don't like this. So, this is RNG here. This is very RNG. So, there can be no threats. There can be one android. There can be one android, one human. There could be two androids, and there could be two androids and one human. We got two androids, so it's still possible, but like, you know, ideally we want nothing to be there. So unfortunately, it didn't work out as well as we wanted. We would have loved nothing, but that's fine. Right, now we're into properly mission 11. So, law point TLDR. Amanda arrives back on Sevastopol and has to avoid the rogue working Joes, who have had their priorities changed by the AI of the ship called, of Sevastopol called Apollo. So we've now obviously got to try to find a way to fight back towards the Marshall Bureau and save Samuels, which Samuels is our dear friend. Samuels has been a part of our crew and our team. So we've got to do as much as we can to try to support him. But just like all the other games like Resident Evil, trying to go the normal route towards the way that you want to go isn't as straightforward as that. So we've got to try to take all the kind of like alternative routes to get to exactly where we need to be. But there is a problem, because the way that we would like to go isn't exactly the safest. We are literally going in towards where like the working Joes are, and basically when we touch that little boarded up door that we couldn't get through, there's actually a lot of humans over there. So we're literally leading our way in towards where the humans are. So we got to try and find a way to be able to, make sure that we don't die. So that's kind of our big MMO. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a speedrun strat here, which is that when we go towards the little turny thing that's going to be able to open up the door, we're going to be trying to make a lot of noise so that we can try to get the infamous sniper, which is basically a revolver guy, but it's just got very, very, very good aim, to try to, try to get rid of him first, basically. And if we can, then he's not going to be a problem. So here we go. Good. Switch over to my flamethrower fuel. Oh. That should do it, hopefully. I think that was enough, but he could have survived it. Even with the onslaught of flames, he could have technically survived it. So I did 3 shots just in case. We'll see. Now, there's going to be a few more androids, so I need to reload my revolver like kind of ASAP. They're going to be shooting this android over here to make sure that he doesn't grab us. And he grabbed us because I shot just to the left of him. This controller, man. This controller. Okay, cool. But that's fine, so... Or is it... Okay, I got really turned around there for a second. Obviously, the access to the Marshall HQ is currently boarded off, so we need to find another alternative route, don't we? So let's do that. I'm going to 2-tap him. There we go. What is that controller? This is the Resident Evil 4 chainsaw controller for the GameCube. There is 2 for... Oh, okay. Oh, boy. Why are they down here? Weird. All right. There are 2 versions of it. One for the PS2, which has a little bit more functionality, and the GameCube one, which is the one I have here. The difference is also color as well. The PlayStation 2 one is red. This one is a yellow. So, it's not the comfiest controller ever. It's not the comfiest, but it's still a very cool and interesting controller in order to be able to play video games with. So, they're kind of expensive now, thinking about it. I think I remember seeing, like, sometimes they could go around for, like, $400 or something like that, which is kind of wild. It's like, they are collector's items, if you know what I mean. So, it's kind of cool. You did not expect a Resident Evil 4 controller for this game, mate. You don't expect DJ decks or steering wheels or DSLR cameras. I play video games with all kinds of strange controllers, so, hey. At least you get to see some cool things, so it's fun. Right, so we now found our alternative route back in towards the Marshall HQ, but things aren't like they were before, so problems were afoot. And we can see dead people, and the only person who survived is our friend Ricardo over here. Bless Ricardo. Right, time to craft some stuff, so...
Gli androidi li hanno massacrati.
Perché? Ma che...
Non lo so,
Okay.
ma credo che Samuels lo sappia.
EMP mine. I do need to use one, so I'll craft it a little bit.
Devo trovarlo. Hai visto?
I'll craft a med kit, yes.
Non sono qui.
But I won't make it. Now I can go loot. Good.
Riccardo, se vado a cercare Samuels, puoi restare qui.
Okay.
Mi servono occhi e orecchie.
Okay, now can I do anything more for the pipe bomb? Not yet, no. In fact, there's one more person I can check just in case.
Riccardo,
It did give us something there. I'm curious.
chiudi i portelli e non fare entrare.
Let's have a look, see.
Guida.
Nah, nothing. Okay, cool. So we do want to maybe get like another pipe bomb. Like if we can, but if we can't, not a huge stress. But now we're going to try to find Samuels once again. Like Samuels isn't where we thought he would be. So they're over in Seeks of Synthetics. So we're going to try to find our way back over towards that point. So as you can see there, take the transit to the Simon Tower. That is our next destination, and that will be mission 11. So time to go and make our way to Saving Samuels. I'll tell you now, who has seen the sequel, like, you know, the announcement video for the sequel for Alien Isolation, not Alien Isolation 2, but the sequel. It's 25 seconds of just pure minimalist bliss, and I am stoked. I am so stoked. Like, the setup for, like, you know, possibly going into one of the colonies as well. I know somebody did mention exactly what colony it might be. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but dude, it looks so hype. It looks so damn hype. I'm so excited that Creative Assembly are working on the game again. You know, I wouldn't have any other team doing it. Interesting factoid, by the way. Interesting factoid. So, Alien Isolation 1 was made on Creative Assembly's own internal game engine, I think called Cathode. But for Alien Isolation sequel, they're actually doing it on Unreal Engine 5. Go figure, right? Like, you think they might stay in-house and doing that stuff, but no. They're opting in for Unreal Engine 5, so go figure. For those who are budding speedrunners, I'll be able to make the autosplitter like an absolute breeze. Unreal Engine is one of the easiest things that I can make. Well, I say easy, but like one of the best engines that I can make autosplitters for. So if you are keen to wanting to speedrun a sequel, don't worry, hit me up. I'll be able to do it, so no problem. Yes, this is a Creative Assembly game. Obviously, we know them for the war games, or whatever it was called, the strategy game. I've forgotten what the name is. I should know it because I've got a mouse out of it, but somebody can fill me in. I don't remember. I'm tired. But yeah, this is one of Creative Assembly's, like, one of my favorite games on them. So they're just using Unreal, which you don't like the sound of. But Total War, thank you. That's the one. Thank you, Crazy Tastic. Thank you. But here's the thing, like, we have seen some games which have been optimized well on Unreal Engine 5. Sure, everyone doesn't dote in it too much, but if you do optimize your code well, then it can actually perform well. So I have faith in Creative Assembly to be able to do well with Unreal Engine 5. Maybe they'll, because you can customize the engine a little bit to work out well. So let's you know, let's give them hope. Let's put the hope where it is. Like, I'm sure it'll go well. That and Empire Earth was so good. Fair enough. See, I've never been a big fan of the Total War games, but I'm very, like, I'm aware of it, but it is what it is. 8-3-8-2. You saw the controller going a little bit wild there as well, so that was fun. You played way too much of the Warhammer 2 and 3. Fair enough, yeah. Like, it's always kind of funny when you see, like, you know, Creative Assembly going from, like, the strategy games like Total War to Alien Isolation horror games. It's such a funny, like, turn of events, but again, great to have him back. Really work with CA to optimize UE5, and maybe they will. Like I say, maybe they will. We'll never know up until we get the release. I'm sure it'll be just fine. I'm sure it will. So, again, we saw Expedition 33 being on Unreal Engine 5 and the performance, and that was pretty good, wasn't it, yo? So, I think it'll be fine. Now, I don't think I'm going to be getting the little minor glitch here, which is called Super Amanda. So, let's see if I can. Let's see if I can. Nah, I didn't get it. So, when you do the Super Amanda glitch, what happens is that your camera hitbox kind of goes a little bit forwards, and you can basically get the vent 2 seconds earlier, but it's a bit of a setup to do. It's not as easy, so if I don't get it, I don't get it. It's 2 seconds. When you speedrun, okay, so Will Cesario says, when you're speedrunning a game, I think it turns out to not be scary anymore. But you'll feel that again with a sequel, she'll be scary. I can actually... What? So, I heard you. What are you doing? You look clearly saw the flame on that. Okay, whatever, mate. Whatever. Anyway, I will say yes and no to that. And actually, this is a very big point that we can make as speedrunners. I'm sure Ed could actually weigh in this as well. When we do a run solidly and everything works out perfectly, sure, absolutely fine. But when something doesn't go right and something goes completely askew, like as in the xenomorph drops at like where you're not expecting, that can actually scare us.
Oh, definitely.
It can. Like,
absolutely.
I'm sure you could share an experience of something that happened to you, right, Ek, right?
Yep, there's been quite a bit. Most notable GDQ-wise is probably the run I did at Ponting Ground news back.
So yeah, like us speedrunners still do get scared, and we're not afraid to admit it. Horror games are still genuinely scary, even if we are extremely comfortable with it. So there you go. It's always so funny when like I do these, like you even saw it today as well. Oh my god, there we go. That was actually like I wasn't trying to prove a point, that actually did get me. Because we're meant to take one punch from that guy and that'll be enough to kind of keep it in an animation, but I guess I got no punch and then he just grabbed us. So thanks for proving a point, Working Joe. Thanks, buddy. Ironic timing, right? Thanks. Anyway, so we are on currently mission 12. So the law for this at the moment is that Amanda leaves Ricardo in the Marshall HQ to find Samuels. After avoiding many Working Joes, which we're currently doing right now, Amanda finds Samuels back there, who dies, but opens a way. Oh, well, not yet, very soon. But Samuels is going to try to talk to Apollo to try to like get rid of the threats. And in doing so, you know, Samuels isn't going to be able to like, you know, do well. And you'll see what I mean in a moment. Also, I'm going to try to hit the android over here with a headshot. He's got a key card. Then I'm going to try to dodge around these androids in the hopes that they don't grab us. Very nice. This android's been causing me problems recently. Like, anyway. So now that we've got a key card, now we're going to open up this door and the androids hopefully won't be joining us. But we will be coming back there soon to be doing like a big lore point in a moment. Now we're back on our way towards like going towards where we think Samuels is. So we kind of find out that Samuels is like obviously an android as well. So we what we didn't see in that little section where we were kind of like going through the little vents and stuff is that Samuels was trying to be able to talk to his brethren, basically, to the other androids, and basically say like, okay, where is the access to Apollo? I need to talk to her. And they're just like, I cannot give you this information. I unfortunately can't do that for you. So Samuels kills the android. So I'm on the wrong door. So Samuels decides to kill the androids, you know, leave no evidence and stuff like that. And he takes the tram over to the other side and basically disables the actual panel so that we can't go over there. But, you know, we find alternative routes. We can chase up to him. And then we kind of watch the whole kind of like the talking to of the Apollo unfold. And okay, I risked that jet steam there for a second. I can talk about it in a moment. So a massive thing with Alien Isolation speedrunning, especially in Nightmare, is the damage values of like the shots you take or the bullets you take or like any kind of form of damage. It has all been calculated by some very clever speedrunners in the community. They have a spreadsheet of literally every single damage value that you can take and the optimal amount of like bullets and damage and things that you can take depending on your actual HP. There are some clever people in the community, like some absolutely clever people who spend some absolute time and dedication and research to figure out basically everything in the game. Even people like Matt Fear, for example, who have made their own like open source software that is kind of like a reverse engineer of this game where you can actually, you know, modify the game itself, called Open Cage. If you've ever been curious about like wanting to make your own kind of like maps and stuff or like, you know, edit the game, you can look at Open Cage. It is genuinely like such a fascinating software because they obviously had to work and kind of reverse engineer, you know, the own software, their own game engine from Creative Assembly. It's really clever. All right. One punch. Okay, punch and a miss, so that's fine. Our health is really bad, so I'm going to be filling up our health momentarily because the last thing I want is a die in this section coming up soon. But we're basically going to be doing a little bit of a puzzle in a moment, and it's really funny because the puzzle is the easiest thing I genuinely think of this game. So they tried to throw you know, like loads of curveballs and stuff like that, but genuinely it's easy, and I'll explain in a moment. So we caught up with Samuels, and obviously we don't want Samuels to like, you know, hurt themselves or anything like that, but Samuels is on their sole dedicated task of going into this little terminal here, kind of like connecting and communicating with Apollo to basically try to say, hey, all the threats are gone. We got rid of that xenomorph on the detachable lab. Everything should be fine. But Apollo's like, nuh-uh. I don't like you. You are wrong also. There's still threats. Electricity! You're gonna die. Basically, that's what's going on. So, Apollo's gonna start rejecting Samuels. And, you know, Samuels is gonna beat his unfortunate fate, unfortunately. So, they're gonna try to ask for us to be able to disconnect the systems and basically turn off the power so that Samuels doesn't keep that form of communication and more degradation of his internal android power. But we have to do it in the correct order, as you can see here. So, he tells us the exact colors that we need to do. Do we need to look at the colors? Nope. Because all you gotta do is go clockwise. That's it. Literally, like, you end up like going back to Samuels every time and he keeps on telling you the next color. It is just a clockwise pattern. They even try to throw you off by throwing red lights so it obscures the actual colors of the cables. Nope. Still clockwise. I love it. It's funny. Oh, come on. Sometimes like the prompt for the D doesn't get hit sometimes. That just, it's a bit of a weird quirk where if you press like the left and the right mouse button like too quickly, basically. All right, good. And final one. Here we go. Lovely. And that's all of it disconnected, and we're good to go. So, this little bit here, this like little passage of dialogue, actually, I feel like it's like one of the coolest parts. I think it's like one of the coolest parts of the game. Obviously, there's a lot of cool parts here, but Samuels is basically going to say like, now I understand what it likes to feel human, because obviously they're on their last legs of life. Basically, they're literally dying in the game, and they're like, I had a life. I can understand like the actual human emotion of the act of passing and stuff like that. So it's very kind of like an emotional stance, and it kind of like actually makes you feel for, you know, the sentient life that is the, you know, the AI, the androids and stuff like that as well. But I don't know. I think it's very interesting and very kind of like, you know, topical for the forthcoming years of AI and stuff like that as well. Like, won't go into too much topic, but like, you know, I feel like it's just like kind of a cool nod for the future somehow. I don't know. It just fascinates me. It fascinates me. So we're going to try to shoot this guy in the chest so that the grabbing animation is paused for 10 seconds, as I mentioned. You. What? Wait, that's so mean. Oh, I could avoid it. The 10 seconds were up. Well, great. Okay, cool. Thanks. So I had to take that grab, unfortunately. There was literally nothing I could do. Also, don't spam the E on this, because once you press it the first time, that's obviously going to send it this way. But if you send it the second time, it will think that you're basically pressing the call tram. So as you're going on the tram, he'll just randomly despawn and you'll fall flat on your face, because technically the tram's been called from the other side back over to you. So there's a meme in the community of don't scroll the tram, because we obviously put the E button onto our mouse wheel to basically be able to do all the, like, you know, the button presses like really, really quickly. And if you scroll the tram too quickly, you do an extra press and then you just fall flat and die. Massive time loss, but you know, it is what it is. So now that we've obviously done all of that, Samuels unfortunately has expired. We got to try to continue the legacy of what Samuels is doing, and we're going to try to get to Apollo ourselves. So we're calling the tram over to get over to the next area, but before we do that, we are going to be looting up like crazy, because this area is what I like to call the loot haven. There's just a lot of good stuff here. So if you were like low on any kind of loot, now you can just get everything. So it is honestly a great place to be. Blasting cap, sure. Med kit, another EMP mine, good. No need for flashlight batteries, we're full. Compound B, perfect. We're full of a lot of good loot right now, so we're going to be great for the next 6 missions from here, I believe. Yes, because we are going into mission 13, and this is where we're actually going to be sacrificing our weapons, because this area, you cannot bring your weapons in. Like, there's like a magnetic areas and stuff like that as well, and it's just not a good time. So it's going to be a little bit nerve-wracking. Oh, my water almost fell. Okay. I put it on a book, and then it went like that. Thank goodness the lid was on. That was very scary. Almost a live stream fail. Anyway, let's give you a bit of a lowdown on Mission 13. Anyway, so TLDR is Amanda travels towards Apollo. Actually, no, I'm not going to tell you the TLDR because it says everything straight away. I'll talk to you as I go through. Easy peasy. Yeah, so stay hydrated, but make sure that your floor doesn't stay hydrated, all right? Oh, God. I need to find a better place to put that water bottle when I'm streaming. Anyway, yeah, so right here we are going to be sacrificing our guns and trying to go through this little bit here because you can't open the doors if you have your weapons on and stuff like that because it detects metal and stuff. There is a way in order to be able to open up the door quickly, but for some reason I can just never get it. I don't know what it is, but like there is a way to be able to fast track that door to open, but even though I went through the door quickly, I keep on missing like some kind of prompt. I've just never been able to get it, so it's whatever. Anyway, now that we've looked at the schematics here, the code that's given to us is 4930. That's the only code that we need for now, so once we do that, we're going to be trying to like disable the gas in certain areas to be able to navigate through and be able to pick up a gas mask when we are down there as well. Because as you can imagine, because everything else is still in disarray, power's been obviously injected into areas that it shouldn't be, so gas is just kind of everywhere at the moment. So doing this is going to be able to disable that. So here we go. We're going to do another hack over here. Let's see. Yep, and yep. Good. So we've got another one to do over on the other side so that we can access more areas. Yeah, so shutting off the turbine ventilation. There we go. Thank you, video game, for helping me out. Sorry, my voice is really giving way today. I must have talked a lot earlier on. I don't know. Anyway, trying to think what else is next. So yeah, when we go down there as well, we do get a gas mask, but we aren't unfortunately able to do one of the allowed minor glitches, which I can explain in a second. So what we would do is that, like, as we are taking off the gas mask after initially putting it on, we would be able to peek as we are taking it off, which, because it kind of like dislodges the placement of where the gas mask is, the gas mask, instead of like it being like, you know, put away, it ends up being on our arm. And then by doing that, it kind of acts as like a sort of like an extra collision on our body. And then if there's like a android in the way, it just makes us basically go completely bypass it. Kind of like it just pushes the collision forwards and then we launch through. Obviously, because I don't have any easy access to the peek button, I can't do that. So if there's an android in the way, I got to take a grab. That's fine. But if not, then, and if the android's not there, then I get to easily bypass and go through. So no point for a safety save. This bit is very, very easy. So we're just going to make our way through. Here's the gas mask, and I'll tell you when we would do it. Right there is where we would do the peak glitch. So it's a shame, is what it is, but no android in the way. So that is all fine. Good stuff. That means that we don't have to incur the little extra time loss there because of the grab. Very nice. Thank you, RNG. Love that. Love that. More hacks to do. Here we go. When you see something like the top tier speedrunners obviously doing on keyboard, the level of speed for doing these hacks is genuinely fascinating. Like, there's actually a hack that's just outside of the Apollo AI that I think is technically human impossible, but I can't remember if somebody has done it or not. But from what I'm aware of, it is it's nearly human impossible. So you have to do ways in order to be able to give it more time, because I think it's like between 4 or 5 seconds to be able to do, well, maybe even 3 seconds to do 6. I think it's either 5 or 6 of the glyphs of like, you know, matching to be able to do this little puzzle here. Basically, I can't remember exactly, so don't quote me on it, but I think maybe one person's done it. Might be wrong. I can't remember if it's actually physically human impossible, so I don't know. Anyway, this is one of the new puzzles that we've been introduced to here. So it's basically trying to match the line and press enter, like the little V onto one of the little spots. Press enter on it, and that will be like, you know, matching the frequency, whatever it is. We don't bother about it too much, and what we try to do is just like literally spam through. And oh, come on, stupid controller. Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so we those little puzzles there, we want to try to only go for the white because there's 3 different types of puzzles on those little screens, which is a green puzzle where you've got to try to like match a ID or something like that and like 4 different bits. That is the slowest. There's another one where you got to try to press like up, right, up, left, or down, like whenever the text appears on the screen. That is equally as slow, but not as slow as the green. And the white is literally easy spam through, match the line, and you're done. When we get into another section there's going to be 4 screens that we have to do, and each of them can be RNG for which one it gives you. We just hope for the white. I'll explain it a little bit more. Right, now we're at the point of Apollo. Now, the cutscene that we're skipping is that we're trying to talk to Apollo to say, yeah, hey, buddy, there's no threats. And they're just like, no, that's incorrect. There's still actually threats on boards. And we're just like, what do you mean? Like, surely that we should be able to reprogram the androids to be fine, because like literally there's no xenomorphs. And they're just like, well, if you don't believe me, you can go further down into the reactor core and deal with it yourself. In the process as well, we also learned that Sevastopol is actually owned by Weyland-Yutani, which is funny because there's actually a real company called Weyland-Yutani, which NASA actually tweeted about them recently. And the amount of like, you know, alien references and xenomorph jokes that was made on that tweet is actually kind of funny. So, you know, ironic that they kind of had the same name. I need to drink water 1 second. There we go. So now that we're in mission 14, we've obviously left Apollo. We're making our way towards the reactor core, and we're going to try to find all of the alternative routes in order to get towards the reactor core. Once again, the androids are still a threat. And there's loads of block passages, so we got to do all the kind of ways in order to be able to give ourselves the alternative routes once again. I actually got a 28.3 second gold split in that one. Nice. That was actually a pretty damn good mission. Damn. Like, you know what's good is I like, you know, as seen as I'm still running like the auto splitter and live split in the background, like I've still got some good like best times to this run that I can definitely use towards like if I do any more runs like this with the chainsaw controller. And I could actually have a look-see to see what my actual summer best could be for future runs. So when this run is over, I'm actually extremely tempted to look-see what my summer best is going to be, because we got a few goals today, so nice. Right, I'm going to get the EMP mine here. So EMP mines are going to be used a couple of times here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it just here. The android is obviously aware of our position, so they're going to try to walk over towards us to kind of deal with us, but they're not aware of the EMP mines that we placed, and as you just saw behind us, it activated and has now temporarily disabled the androids. Not full disabled. We will have to manually disable it with like, you know, a wrench and stuff or other forms of attacking weapons, which we'll be showing you in a second as well. So you can hear the gurgling in the background, but it's only for like maybe like 20 seconds or something, or maybe around that. So we need to get through and cut that vent as quickly as possible, just to make sure that it doesn't end up grabbing us, and then we have to come recutting it, then we have to whack it down and stuff like that. It's just get rid of it as quickly as possible, basically. Right, we got another android over here. Any other loot that I can get? Nope. So the first thing we need to do is go over to the little thing. I forget what this is called, honestly. The little terminal. Try to re-engage the power, because we're trying to be able to do 3 terminals in order to be able to move this vehicle up on the pulley. The android's coming over towards us, so we need to throw it down on the ground and whack it to death. Oh, there we go. So now it is physically and actually, you know, done. You know, it's not like any kind of problem at the moment, so that's fine. That is 2. There is some loot over here. There's nothing I can pick up. We are full of loot at the moment, so I might need to craft another med kit in order to be able to just get rid of some loot. Maybe another pipe bomb. I can have a look at the pipe bomb stuff in a moment, so we'll see. Right, here is the actual, like the prompt in order to be able to bring it up fully now that we've engaged like 3 of the powers. And up it goes, and here is once again our alternative route. I wonder how many times I've said alternative route during this run. I wonder. From here, we're actually going to be introduced to a new form of android. I say new form of android, but it's just wearing a suit. So we're going to be meeting what is known in the community as Super Joes, which is basically an android wearing a hazmat suit. Now, when they're in a hazmat suit, they actually become like a little bit more stronger, like a little bit more beefier. Obviously, they don't get affected by the EMP mines as well, so that becomes a bit of an issue. So the only way that we can really deal with them is by shotgun shots. And you saw that we did some shotgun shots earlier on, which required just 1 hit. They require 2 hits for it. So we will be showcasing some moments later on where we will have to kill the Super Joes. Otherwise, it just makes the patterns a little bit weird and stuff. So it's easier. There we go, finally. Took a sweet time to make a noise. I'm going to use a medkit now, just cheekily now. And run it. Oh, that was close. Okay, I really should not have risked that. Okay. And we finally get our brand new weapon, which is the bolt gun. Now, can I get a headshot on a chainsaw with the bolt gun? Let's find out. Where are you? No, seriously, where are you? There we go. Nice. God, it's so satisfying. It is so damn satisfying. It's not as satisfying as the potential next one, and I'll show you what I mean momentarily. Ah, come on, controller. Okay. There we go. So the reason that we had to do this whole thing in the first place is that we saw those little androids going through the door there. After they'd gone through, that had actually completely locked and shut that door, so we needed to find a way to be able to actually activate that door open. So that's what the terminal was able to do, was be able to open it. Easy peasy. So when I said about the second form of headshot, just you wait. It's a long range one. It is a long range bolt gun headshot. If I can get it, I want you guys to pop off, because it is not an easy setup. You see that I have to do kind of micro adjustments with the C stick as well. It can be very a bit too much or a little bit underwhelming. I've kind of set a bit of a kind of an estimate of how much it would be able to do it if I just hold right and left. So I'm hoping that this will go well. I'm hoping. So fingers crossed I can show off here. Fingers crossed. Because I'll tell you now, it's super satisfying. Even when you do it on a mouse and keyboard and get it, it's so satisfying, but on an alternative controller, it is something else. So here we go. Let's get it set up. Let's get it set up. Here, down we go. I'm actually going to crouch for this one to get it working. Here, get the bolt gun. Oh, missed. Okay, hold on. Still gonna try it. Still gonna try it. Normally I can do it whilst we're going down, but we're gonna try it even for now at a distance. So here we go. Still pop-off moments. There we go. You know what? I'm gonna give it a half pop-off. I'll give it a half pop-off. Come on. Still a very hard thing to do. So, anyway. I like the fact I was kind of aiming like that as well. Yeah, we'll give me a half clap. That's fine. I did it in, I think yesterday's, when I did it on my channel yesterday. And it was the perfect kind of long range headshot. So that was a real pop-off moment, but it's fine. Anyway, this is where it gets a little bit more terrifying. So now that we're actually in the reactor core, we're going towards the actual maintenance in order to try to be able to see what's going on, but it's not exactly like what we thought it was. When the Apollo AI said that, yeah, there's still threats on board. Yeah, there's threats on board. So, welcome to the nest. This is another part where runs can definitely go rip, so I'm going to try to focus up here to see if I can do it well. The main thing that we're hoping to do is try to be able to do a massive EMP blast, because our assumption is that aliens might be prone to electromagnetic pulses. So what else can we do but try to overload the reactor core? That seems like a reasonable idea, right? Seems like a reasonable idea. But there's loads of xenomorphs down here already, and it's already going to try to make our experience of trying to do that in the first place not as easy. So we started to do the process of overloading the alpha cores there. But now we've got to try and overload the beta core. And this is where it gets a little bit specific. Now, there's one trick that you can do called hugger boosting in this little section here, but I won't do it. But I am going to try to show it off in mission 18 a little bit later. I did it on an absolute joke whim during my main stream earlier on, my commentary practice earlier on today, and I actually managed to get it. I'm never really good at doing it, so I'm going to try to attempt it and see if I can show it off in the stream here today. And now it'll be a real pop-off moment, honestly. I tell you now, earlier on today, I popped off so much. I was like, I don't know how to do it. Why are you going to do it only on a chainsaw? It's wild. Anyway, right. So I'm going to do a shot, revolver shot here to try to drag attention over to us. There we go. We're then going to be doing another revolver bullet over here after the alien passes. So they get confused of our current position, which is then going to go into a scripted event sequence so that it won't be able to detect that we are behind it. Start sprint bursting again by pressing the shift button every short burst, every so often, like every second or so. Flamethrower fuel, nice. Okay, cool. Ooh, did not drop. I'm gonna flame it. Just as a safety point. I don't feel confident about that, so why not protect ourselves, right? We're gonna do this one over here. That should start the overloading for the beta core. Then make our way out towards the main outside area of the actual reactor core. So yeah, so back to the central reactor. Don't like that. Okie dokie, that's okay. Now there's a cheeky face hugger that comes over here. I remember in my first playthrough, I definitely died to this, so don't worry if you die. It surprises you, okay? And now we continue onwards. Now there's a chance that a xenomorph could drop, and obviously doesn't drop. So if it drops, we have to turn around almost immediately and get ready to flame burst. So let's hear. We're fine. Cool. We would have heard a drop maybe 2 or 3 seconds ago, so that's perfectly fine. That is the nest done. That is definitely a point of resetability, so it's nice that I was able to do that on a first try basis. So pretty good. Right, so I mentioned earlier on the fact that we need to be able to shotgun the Super Joes twice in the head. Now is the main showcasing of that specifically, because it's just easier, especially on an unconventional controller, to be able to, make sure that it's not too much of a threat and stuff like that. So when I start the process to overload the alpha core in this section, I'm just going to do my due diligence of destroying all the androids here. There's 3 over on that side. That's scary. Nice. Or not nice. Okay, well, I guess my reticle was in the right position. That's weird. Reload. Good. Reload. Only need 2 more bullets. 1 and... Ah! So close. So close. They just got a little bit too close to me, and they obviously leapt forwards and hurt me there. So bang. There we go. Now, what puzzles are we going to get? We only want the white puzzles from here. So that's 1, 2, 3. There we go. So as you can tell, it is RNG. It is not fun. If you manage to get white on all first tries, you have the god run. But it's not as easy as that. So that's 1. There, that's not bad. Only after 1. That's okay. Now, each side will account for 2 of the screens that we've seen there. So we now have to go to the other core on that side, which is the alpha core, and we've got the remaining 2. So let's see what the count will be for the other one, shall we? Hopefully not bad. Hopefully. And here we go. That's one. That's one again. Not bad. And a very quick puts us off there, so that's not bad either. Okay. Right, what about this one? One again. So it was 3-1-1-1. Honestly, that's kind of okay average. I won't lie. That's okay. So I'm honestly not too salty about that. That actually was pretty chill comparatively, because I think the worst I've ever got was nearly like 8 or 9 times of randomization where it was just like not giving me the right prompt. It could be so lethal at times. So, you know, you gotta love RNG for the sake of RNG, right? Okay, gonna swap to my revolver. There's nothing. Oh, there's Vulcan ammo. Yeah, I'll take that. Now that we've activated everything over this point, it's actually going to try to send these androids up in flames. Once again, try to shoot in the chest so that we don't get the grab animation all the way through, and just make our way up into that little booth there in order to be able to trigger the eventual EMP Mega Blast, basically. Yeah, those Super Joes are on fire now, so they're dead. But right, we are getting close towards the Mission 15 section. And during Mission 15 as well, I mentioned that there is a point for me to go for a toilet break. We won't be taking any major, like, hourly breaks because everything is just going to be full frontal going forwards. But I will encourage you, when I mention a call for the pre-break, if you want to go for a toilet break as well, then you can do so as well. It's about like a minute 30 of a sequence, so it's just easy to get through it and get it done. So, and it is like, you know, 5:15 in the morning, so 5:11 in the morning. So it's better to get it all done and all in one go now.
It's nice to have that built-in break in the run.
Absolutely. Like, in fact, we were talking about this a little bit earlier on. Your Mugenics run, like, that's a good question. How many like breaks did you actually manage to take? Right?
One.
What, one? Oh my god.
Yeah, no. Parasite Eve was a lot nicer.
God, and for those who don't know, Ecdosis's Mugenics run was like 19 hours, so you're a champion, dude.
It was a long run. It was a very long run.
Are you ever planning to do it again, or is it just a one and done?
We'll see what happens.
Never say never, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm now going to do some reloading just to make sure that all my my inventory is all full up. See if there's anything else that I need to craft. Med kits. I could use one and then I can make another. Let's see. Press the button and then I craft it. I am technically losing a little bit of time here, but it's fine. Oh, come on. And there we go. Okay. So, like Ecdysis, I have done myself also a 19-hour speed run as well, but we've got very different kind of runs. So obviously Ecdysis has done Mugenics. My one was Vampire Survivors, in which I did base game all the way towards the Ode to Castlevania DLC to unlock the final secret character, and that was also a very fun and interesting run because, like, you know, it is very sort of like a, I would say a little bit like a monotonous run. Like, whilst for Mugenics, you've obviously got a lot of like critical thinking to do, and you know, Vampire Survivors is mainly just making sure that you don't get hit and die, basically, and going up, down, left, and right. So, quite the difference, and I like that there are such like runners like myself and Ek that will, you know, dedicate ourselves to those length of runs, and it's honestly it could be batshit awesome. I'm sorry for the sweat. Anyway. So now that we're done with mission 14, we had to try to survive the facehuggers. We got to try to overload the reactor, and then we're going to be going over to mission 15, which is where Amanda's going to try to use the Seeks and executive transports to travel over to the Anisadora, in which the Anisadora is going to be where the I don't think nerve-wracking stuff is going to happen, because you know Marlo from mission 9, and he basically was trying to say, like, you know, I'll like. Seeing as you are Amanda Ripley's daughter, I'll tell you all the things. Marlo broke out. Ricardo told us that, like, Marlo is up to no good, and he kind of went over to the Anisadora to try to start the explosion, to basically do like a mini implosion to get rid of everything that's present at the moment. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Which means Sevastopol, the Anisadora, all the remaining humans on board,
Sta attraccando.
No, ma sta stazionando qui vicino.
No, I am doing this right. I had to think about that for a second. Yeah, because we need to go over to this little thing here to cut open the door. And then, yeah, okay. For some reason I felt like I had to do like just running straight away, but that's only mission 12, so that's fine. We can run from this point though, because like the xenomorph is like in their kind of like their inactive state now, so they're not going to be able to get over to us. So flavor fuel, very nice, good. Compound B, good. All right, actually some decent loot then, not bad. So on Novice, I don't know the best strat for this little section, but Nightmare, what they would do is that they would make a noisemaker and they kind of throw it back to where we spawn here. And that way it would kind of like draw the xenomorph, and we can obviously just run towards where we would get another upgrade for our Axis tuner to be able to hack stronger security doors, basically. And the door that we're going to be hacking is obviously the short range ambulance to head over to the Anisadora. That's, it's a pretty straightforward little section here, but on Novice, because like everything's kind of easy, I don't think we have to worry too much because the xenomorph isn't really going to be able to hear, isn't as fully alert as they would be, say, for Nightmare. So it's kind of an okay situation. So hopefully the xenomorph doesn't drop. We'll find out. Okay, so there's our next upgrade. And we're good to go. And I think this one now has 6 glyphs that we need to hack. So let's have a look, see. Ooh. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's 5. So it's 3, then 4, then 5. Okay, I've got it. Okay, all good. Righto. So now we're taking the short range ambulance and we are heading our way over. So, toilet break is probably in about maybe 3 minutes from now. Just a heads up to people. I think I might do a safety save just in case, because there is a chance that I could accidentally get grabbed by a face. I'm gonna have to redo all of mission 15 all over again. So I'd rather not do that and try to make sure that we're still on a reasonable time level. So this part of mission 15 in Isidore is actually kind of like very, very chill. We're trying to basically open up more passageways for like, the electricity for the doors. Try to get over to where I think we know where Marlowe kind of is, which is kind of like basically at the, where the major engine of the Anisadora is basically. So, yeah, so we're also trying to find a way towards also go towards the flight recorder here as well, because I believe we find out that somehow somewhere in the lore of this game, we find out that the Nostromo flight recorder data that contains a message from Ellen Ripley is actually on this vessel here. So what we couldn't find back in mission 3, which was like that little flight recorder where it was all the data was corrupted, actually is held on the Anisadora here. So, it's been a long time coming. Obviously, depending on how long you play this game and how scared you are, it could take a while for you to get to this point, but then you finally get a really nice cutscene. You get the very kind of astute and emotional kind of final message from Helen. I forgot the code. Whoops. Oh, 4510. Wow, I had a brain lapse there. My God. It's late. Let's just pile it down for being late. It's fine. My brain is working overdrive right now anyway, so it's okay. Yes, we've got to do these ones now. Here's a funny little glitch. For some reason, oh wow, I didn't get a glitch, huh? So for some reason, if you do these two really, really quickly, for some reason it just despawns your arm, and you can completely move your camera in a weird, broken state. But for the first time, probably in maybe 6 years, because I did it slow enough, I actually retained my arm. Go figure. Can't say that's never happened before. I can't, because it has happened before. That's when I started to learn speedrunning, but it's been a very long time since that moment. Okay. Anyway, we got another hack puzzle to do here. 1, 2, and 3. So now that's going to give us some more electrical juice in the way. So all groovy. Now, there is an annoying little face hugger that is just around the corner of some boxes. So I am not going to go for the, I'm not going to go for, I'm going to say risky, but like I have died to this facehugger like once or twice during this chainsaw control practice. So I'm just going to take it easy and just like do it normally, basically. So what you're meant to do is that you hear the noise of the facehugger in a second. You get a little bit scared, so you kind of move back a little bit, and then you flame it. Now you can usually go around here and flame burst it at just that little point there, just around the like the left edge of the boxes. But again, I'm not gonna risk it. Not right now. Not right now. All right, so we got a few more doors in order to be able to get down towards the engine area of the Isadora. And then we're gonna click on the computer screen, activate the cutscene. I'm going to also skip the cutscene, and that's going to be where I go for my toilet break. Just for people to know. So I will be leaving my space in just a moment in order to be able to do that. I might turn off my camera actually in the OBS, so it probably will be just a grey screen, just for tech as well. Just to make it easier. And then I'll turn my camera back on in due course. So yeah, I'll just mute the scene, I reckon. That should, well, not the scene, but just the camera. All right, so let me get it all prepped now. So studio mode. And webcam cropping, and then this one here. Then we press this button. And there we go. In fact, you're going to be left with Silent Hill short message. Why not? Right. Give me a few. I will be back momentarily after a toilet break.
Sounds good. You know, while Nico is gone, something fun to talk about the GDQ stuff is, I've been enjoying the SGDQ. I think that's the Blue Sky. It's been pretty fun. You know, Wordle. They put on a word, and then people have been guessing it. And I think some of the games list has been dropping early. It's been fun. I think they've been doing around like noon. Although it might be more like 3 p.m. East Coast. But yeah. And we got like one more before the games list drops. You didn't know there were face huggers in this game. Yeah, they are in the game. They're indeed in the game. Yeah, always an exciting time having the seasons of GDQ in a way. What else is happening? There are probably some announcements. You know, I'll repeat one. For anyone who did not know, Gamescom GDQ will be taking place August 28th to the 30th, live in Cologne, Germany. You can join GDQ's first European event by submitting your runs from May 4th to the 17th, and visit gamescom.global for more info about the events. And then, yeah, I guess games list on May 1st. That's in what, 2 days? 1 day? I don't know. What do you count it? 2 days? 1 day? I never really know.
All right. Sorry about that. I actually was a little bit late there. Cool. All right. Sorry. Keep going with the announcements there, buddy.
Oh, no. I'm just talking about the, I don't know if you've been catching it, but the SGDQ on Blue Sky.
I did see a little bit about that. Yeah.
It's been honestly fun. I've really been enjoying that.
Clever. Wasn't like Argig just one of the words, right?
Yeah, people are having fun guessing the different words. It's wild to me how good at Wordle people are.
Yeah. Like I remember like seeing like a thread. I think it was like from Conception, just like doing daily updates on now X of Wordle, and it's just like there are some dedicated people to Wordle, genuinely.
Someone got the word island vibe on the second try.
Really?
Two words. It was island vibe, and they got it second try. It's like, how do you get that off of 2 tries? What made you guess that?
Go figure. That's clever. Wow.
Yeah, and I think that one was for the Super Princess Peach.
Nice. We're just going to be doing a big running section, by the way. So, like, basically, they tried to stop the overloading, didn't work. Taylor's going to be like, go, I've got it from here, just leave. So everyone, 07 in the chat for Taylor. I guess whilst we're running, if there's anything else that you want to mention, Dices, now would probably be a good time, actually.
No, we kind of got through all the... I actually read a couple while you were gone, so we got through basically all the announcements. Also, mostly just talking about the excitement for Gamescom and for Games List on Friday.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Also, the controller comes from RE4.
That's correct, yes. This is specifically the GameCube version of it. So there's two versions of the Resident Evil 4 GameCube controller. There's the PS2 version, which is a red one, which actually has like a pull start as well. And I think there's motion controlling as well. This one is the GameCube version. This one does not have like any of those like whistles and bells. It's literally just like, you know, kind of like a box standard controller basically. But again, one of my lovely community members gifted me this. Well, they didn't gift it to me. They just randomly had it and said, hey, do you want it? And I was like, absolutely, thank you very much, because I've always wanted it. So, and all I can think of is speedrunning in isolation with a chainsaw, which is ironic because there's no chainsaw in the game. It's an imitation flamethrower. Righto then. So, now we're going on to mission 16. So, this is where things start to finally pick up in the sense of like, you know, action, if you want to say it. So, Amanda's going to be, Ricardo's going to be opening up a way for Amanda to be able to spacewalk out to the communications antenna, and they're going to be using it to try to re-establish communications with the Torrens and Verlaine, because obviously Verlaine, we've not had any form of communication with them at all after we initially came over from the Torrens over to Sevastopol, so we need to try to, you know, tell Verlaine exactly what's been going on, basically. So, on the way, there's obviously a lot of, hassle. There's a lot. Oh, yeah. That's right, Ek. You did rock up to Eva with it. Wait. So, how long ago was that, by the way, Ek?
A few years ago now, I think. 2023?
Damn. Like, yeah. Time has been going too quickly recently. Like, far too quickly. I tried to stun him with my flashlight. It's like, all right, so during this section here, you can see that I'm choosing to be able to you know, kill these humans over here. You don't have to do it, but like the main reason I'm doing is that I want to get rid of the you know, the revolver guys that you're seeing right here, because they can obviously pack a punch, as we saw earlier on. Getting rid of the two revolver guys is best. Shotgun bullets literally do like very, very, very minimal damage on novice, so just getting rid of the guys that do the most damage is the best thing to do here. Right, we're actually coming up to Ricardo now, and Ricardo's going to say, hey, I've got you, mate. Just going through. There is some enemies over here, so just try to, you know, try to stay safe. So I'm going to craft that other pipe bomb as I mentioned. Yeah, there we go, good. Do I have enough to craft? I'm going to put some more in towards another one, actually. Because you never know. And that's just perfect timing for us to get through here. There are the three human, you know, we're going to call them enemies because, you know, they're against us. We're going to try to throw a pipe bomb in a very good position that hopefully we can destroy all three. If we don't, it's not the end of the world. But, yeah. If we get rid of one, that's fine. If we get rid of two, that's even better because the Xenomorph will get the other one. Let's see how my throw goes. Now, watch this drive. After we do the pipe bomb throw, what we're going to be doing is going up into the observatory. Once we get up to the top of the observatory, we're going to try to get the coordinates for trying to be able to communicate with the Torrens. And then once we've got the coordinates, then we need to try to, like, you know, fix the antennas up and then try to dial in those coordinates. It is going to be another sort of like a walking section, so it's going to be a bit of a, you know, bit of a drag. So, you know what, screw it. I didn't get him. I think that was two. Normally I don't throw a second one, but I saw none of them died there, so I don't know the best way to throw it. Whatever, it's fine. I can craft another one, maybe if the loot goes well. We'll find out soon enough. We'll find out. All right, let's get ourselves up into the observatory. Let's do the thing. So for this section here, this is a little bit dicey on this controller here because, as I mentioned on my left stick, sometimes I can't always like fully do the inputs correctly. It might be a little bit like, you know, like left and right, but I need to press down, right, up, and damn. Ooh, oh boy, here comes the weird controller stuff. There we go, finally. That is RNG, by the way, but it's just sometimes my controller does not want to, like the analog stick does not want to play kind, and my thumb goes all over the place, so I have to deal with the controller a little bit, which is the one irony of it, a tiny bit. I don't know why. All right, so that one's giving us the coordinate of 35 for the conversion input, and this one's going to give us 75. So we've got to do yet another, that's right, goes in a square hole moment. Here we go. Line up the center 4 lines. Gives us a good cue and position. And bosh. There we go. Now, if you're doing the category known as crouch clipping, because your technical loss position that the game recognizes you in, like on flat floor, is actually back on the floor. If you actually crouch clip outside of this, you fall back into like the bounds of outside of the observatory. I love doing it. It's such a fun little like skip. Crouch clipping is genuinely one of my favorite categories of the run. Like, no major glitches is definitely up there, but crouch clipping only is just an extremely satisfying run to do. Like, extremely satisfying. So if you've ever been curious about maybe trying to speedrun in isolation, there are multiple categories of any percent, which is basically all kinds of forms of glitches, CC only, CC plus FPS, no crouch clipping, and obviously no major glitches. Many different category extensions like a death percent, locker percent, low percent. There's a lot you can do in this game. Speaking of, there is a sequel coming out very soon. If you look at the social media for Alien Isolation, they just pushed out a 25-second teaser video of what is going to be the sequel. So don't you fret. For literally the 10th anniversary of Alien Isolation, they even announced that they are working on a sequel with the original, well, none of it's the full original team, but Creative Assembly are back and working on a sequel. So I'm glad that you are in this timeline right now, the Pikey. So you're living in a good time. Yeah, yes way, absolute yes way. Like, all I say is go to Google, go check it, and you can find out more information. And the IDK Muffin, yes, it is absolutely getting a sequel. Go type in Alien Isolation sequel teaser into Google right now. Go watch the video. It's 25 seconds. You can come back in a second. I wanted to hear your excitement, but it's minimal. It's very short. It gives you no exposition apart from one tiny bit. But it's enough to get me hyped. It's enough to get me fully hyped, genuinely. Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. I can't believe we're finally getting a sequel. Like, it's kind of surprising as well that, like, you know, they would only announce it 10 years later. Like, they might have been working in on a lot. Like, you know, over the course of a few years, maybe they've been doing a secret because, you know, NDAs and stuff. But I feel like it's kind of very bittersweet that they actually did get to announce it on the 10-year anniversary and stuff. By the way, this section is just an auto walker, so I'm just kind of riffing at the moment. But we're basically going over to the other side, trying to turn on the powers so that we can reinstigate these things, the dishes, turn the things, do the things. That's it. That's all I need to know. So yeah, you never finished the game, but you've watched your brother replay this game over and over. Smurf and Murph, maybe they could become a speedrunner. You never know. You never know. You saw the trailer. Your brother's also a big nerd. They were so stoked when they released it. Yeah, that is. Like, I don't know everything about the lore. I don't know everything about the lore. I have a great fascination for Alien Isolation. It's one of my favorite, like, genuinely one of my favorite games of all time. Technically the GOAT, yeah, game of all time. Obviously not my game of all time fully, because my favorite game ever is Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. You know, I grew up with the game, it's my favorite, but Alien Isolation in my adult life is absolutely my favorite. So good. So, you know, obviously being able to know that good to know that, like, when the announcement came out, gets me excited for future speed runs of the game. And as I mentioned earlier on in the stream, that, like, the matter of fact that it's Unreal Engine 5, so it's not their own in-game engine of Cathode, it's going to be Unreal Engine 5. I will be able to make an auto splitter for that super easy. So for those curious who don't know what an auto splitter is, but I do love watching real-time attack runs. So that's from when the game starts to when it ends. Just like Games Done Quick right now is actually calculating the speed runs. It calculates things like load remove time. So it gets rid of the loads. If you choose to get rid of cutscenes, it can also get rid of cutscenes. And other things like that. I have been able to make auto splitters for the last like few kind of major releases of Unreal Engine games. Most notably, Claire Obscure Expedition 33. That was an Unreal Engine 5 title as well. Subliminal as well for the episode 1. God, I'm gonna have to pull up my GitHub in a sec to be able to find out. But I've got a knack for making auto splitters. I mean, for those who speedran Resident Evil Requiem recently, Resident Evil 9. Hi, I made the auto splitter for that as well. I did that, so it's really like, you know, I swear down, making the auto splitter for Resident Evil Requiem was actually one of the most like rewarding things I've done because the community was so encouraging behind it as well. So I'm very grateful to the Requiem community. They gave me a lot of time, a lot of patience, a lot of like strength to do it. So I'm grateful to the Requiem community for it. And I just hope that there's no more issues anymore. I genuinely hope so. Thankfully, there's been no tags as of late, but you know, the RE engine is a bit of a nightmare. I don't know, bit of a nightmare. I don't know. So yeah, I'm most excited to see what other games that could come up soon for me to get my dirty hands on and make some auto splitters and stuff like that. But I'm sure there's going to be some fun games out. Now, I did make the auto splitter for Silent Hill F. So when Townfall comes out, hopefully this year, because it is scheduled to come out this year, I think that's Unreal Engine 5. Do you know if they've announced what engine Townfall is going to be on?
Not that I know.
We'll have to find out. If they are going to keep the same engines, then I'm sure I can get involved. I'm very curious what the game's going to be like, what kind of style. Because, you know, they went from the short message, which was obviously like more of a first-person experience, Walker, auto sim sort of stuff, to then obviously Silent Hill F, which was more of the actual proper Silent Hill kind of combat action that we know. What is Townfall going to be like? Time will tell. No date announcement for it yet. There is some... Well, there's some like somewhere said it's going to be maybe like at the end of the year, like December 31st, but I won't privy for it. I won't privy for it. So yeah, now that we did all the things, we'll be finally being able to get it in touch with Verlaine. Verlaine's going to say, hey, we need to try to get you back on board. So you need to try to find a way for the Torrens to be able to dock onto Sebastopol. Do that thing, basically. Do that thing. So we're on our way over there now. But for those who may have played the game but not seen this, I'll point it out in a second. There's a little thing that a lot of people actually do tend to miss. Has anyone done Dark Souls on a chainsaw controller? That I cannot answer. I have not done any research or checking to see if anybody's done it. But if you Google it, I'm sure there could be an answer. There has been a lot of interesting controllers that has been done for it, especially like a you know, a physical boxing dummy as an actual controller. That's one of them. Like Aerophone, Guitar controller, all the stuff. There's a load of controllers. Right. Keep an eye in the kind of the center of the screen. This is what a lot of people miss. Now we think that there's no major threats going on board at the moment. However, Xenomorph is making their way back inside of Sevastopol. Yike! Not good. No bueno. So, looks like we're gonna be dealing with them again. Oh yeah, my friend Gloom Shadows, I think, has done Dark Souls with a Dark Souls Revolution pad. So, absolutely, like I say, anything's possible, man. Anything's possible. Just got to put your mind to it, and you got to try to, you know, play games unconventionally. Where there's a will, there's a way. If you can make it happen, you can make it happen. Basically, again, any level of skills is possible for this stuff, so it's awesome. Right, I'm gonna do a safety save here just in case. Rich, I just noticed that you put my GitHub link in the chat there. Thank you, man. Yeah, so you can see like all the amounts of horse I've done. I've done a lot over like the last like 2 or 3 years. One of the most notable ones as well was actually all but one of the Twisted Metal series. So if you've ever played a Twisted Metal, if you play it on PC and stuff like that as well, like there's an auto splitter for it. It's kind of crazy that I was able to get it all done. And in very quick succession as well, thanks to Retro Achievements that gives you the code notes. It's a massive game changer. All right, the moment that I see it up vent, because I think I got rid of all the humans, I can just go. Good. Thank you. Thank you, though. Please open. Because I got rid of all the humans, the Xenomorph is not going to be anything up patrolling or trying to like see if there's anything that it can try to get rid of. It's just going to go back and up vent. So it actually makes this section very, very nice. Where am I at? Mission 16 right now. So, I'm trying to remember where I go to from here. I might be having a brain fart, y'all, but I remember as I go through it a little bit. I know that we have to start to avoid the Xenomorph, and we can hear it scuttling in the left-hand side over here. We need to try to... Oh, yeah. No, I remember now. So we're going to try to make our way back over towards, like, you know, where we were going to, like, the Simed area. But instead of going over to the Simed area, we're going to go to a brand new area, which will kind of lead us over towards, like, the area for where we're going to try to go to for the Solomon's habitation tower, basically. Safety saving, because this could go completely wrong. So let's see how this goes, because the Xenomorph could drop at any point, because obviously because we're saving, it's now a little bit out of whack. So it might even be a clean exit actually. So okay, cool. Clean exit. Very nice. No bullet shot, no Xenomorph. I love it. I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon. All right. What do you mean? Oh, my God. Okay. I'm going to get my stun baton because we're going to need to use a stun baton in this little section here. So, Amanda's going to be trying to navigate through the penthouse area of Sevastopol to try to get back to the spaceflight terminal to go onto the tow platform. However, as soon as we go into here, the first operation that we need to do is try to stun baton this human here. So here we go. Now, if we do that well and stay stealthy all the way through, the Xenomorph should not drop. Obviously, if we do make a bit of extra noise, it will be kind of like in its kind of like active listening state. So, if it works out, let's see if it works out. There is a question from Curly saying, is there a reason the dialogue's in Spanish? The actual language is Italian, and yes, Italian is actually 30 seconds faster of a language pack. Technically, what is it? French is faster by 0.5 over Italian, but all the speedrunners have voted that they prefer Italian more so because like it actually sounds a little bit better. Excuse me, my voice is really going now. It actually sounds a little bit better, and it's like apparently the French VO is just innately loud. So just to protect people's ears, they go for the, you know, the Italian language. So yeah. Alrighty, so I'm gonna do a safety save in a moment because this could go one way or the other. Just outside where we're going to be opening the door, there is a little facehugger over here that may be able to wreck us and may cause the Xenomorph to spawn and drop. So hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully. Let's find out. We're actually in the clear. I love it when it works out like that. So right there is where the Xenomorph could have dropped, but it didn't. That makes this first little bit of the area very nice. Now, I'm going to get with you on a real note here. After this section here, I have died a lot. This forthcoming section on Novice is not the easiest because the RNG is very askew and it could go, it does not match up with the patterns that we wanted. Like, obviously for Nightmare we can set it exactly how we want it, but Novice, very all over the shop. So if I manage to do this without a death, I could actually kind of officially call it like a first try situation. So we're hoping, because I don't think I've done it without a death yet during my 2 days of remembrance and practice for this run. So I'm hoping for live on GDQ that we'll get it first try. So here we go. Let's find out. What's going to happen is that we're going to be going over to an elevator and we're going to try to go up towards, you know, to the habituation tower or habitation tower. But the elevator is going to break in the process. So again, we're going to have to try to find the alternative routes to get up to it. Once we get past the point of the broken elevator, that's where it's going to be. Hopefully I'll do it first try. So let's see if this goes well. And I think I might actually take a moment, like when we're doing that, to be able to just like focus up and just see if I can actually do this, because I kind of want to do it. It's 5:45 a.m. If I can do this and get it first try, that'll make this run and this time of the morning perfectly valid anyway. So here we go. I'm going to make sure that I'm reloaded all the way through. That's good. All right, let's do this. So I'm going to do a safety save just in case. Again, safety saves on a sort of like a, you know, live run, like marathon run in a sense. Always very, very important. So this is our first kind of like major point of a safety save. Shotguns out. All right, let's do this. So I'm going to focus up here for a little bit. Right, I'm going to go get my Molotov now. Get my flamethrower out. The code's going to be 1984 reference, probably. Oh, okay, there he is. Okay. Oh, get out of my way. Ow. Gonna be getting an EMP mine out in a moment. All right, the patterns are now nowhere near where they should be, so this is all completely improv. Oh boy. First thing I'm gonna do is get a med kit. Don't know where he is right now. This kind of worries me. All right, here we go. Yeah, he is gonna be very alive right now, very sort of active. So this is actually very worrying. Oh boy, here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. All right, so we got through the first little hurdle there. Like, going around that little bit, I've died quite a few times, so that's at least one hurdle over and done with. It's not the end of it yet. Okay, get the key cards here. Flame the face hugger. Get my Molotov out and ready, because we're going to be throwing the Molotov at the window in a second. And the ill effects of the flame's going to go through the window and actually deter this xenomorph from this point. Good. Get the other flamethrower fuel over there. Why not? Okay. I wasn't sure if he's going to run all the way around, but he up-vented, so that's fine. Kind of hug over on the side so that he doesn't drop down if he is in that vent. Safety. I am going to safety save. This is a very good safety save here, honestly. Okay, here we go. Now, there is a PC strat that you can do here, which is like, you know, only you can do a PC where you can actually flame the xenomorph like 3 or 4 times, and then you can bypass him because he's in his like scripted events phase. So on this controller, I am not doing it. I don't trust myself with that at all. It is a fun PC strat that you can do. Like, you have to be over like a certain FPS, but you can easily bypass that xenomorph at that point. It's fun. Making sure I'm on the flamethrower. Good. I think the xenomorph is just around the corner here. Or not. He is usually behind it. That is weird. Okay, that's fine. We flamed him, so he wasn't going to do the kill grab. That's fine. Oh, my heart. My heart. Oh, my God. Scary. Keeping an eye out to see if he's around here. Whoa, close. Oh, my God, that's close. Oh, why is this animal being such a pain? Why? It's not over yet. We got one more. Actually, that's actually good. That's actually real good. That's real good, actually. Now it's just the leaving. Oh, come on. Okay, that's fine. Oh, well. I can say that doing that section without a death, that's actually, that's finally done. I finally did it without a death. First time for everything. Great to be able to do it on a GDQ run. No deaths in mission 17. Let's go, man. Let's go. Oh, that was nerve-wracking, man. And this is going to be a very hefty time save, by the way. And I can actually tell you, against my current personal best, just how much of a goal split I will have got. I'm sure some people are curious because, again, as I mentioned, I have taken deaths in all my other runs in that mission. So let's find out just how big my goal split is. And I can save that as my best time. Even though, like, you know, we did take a massive sort of, like, RTA pause earlier on. It won't be, like, a run that I can submit. It's fine. For the sake of the, you know, my best time for LRT and stuff like that as well. I'm very hyped about this. I'm very, very hyped about this. Let's have a look, see. Okay, so apparently I might have done it without a death, because for some reason it seems like I'm counting down the time of the light. No, actually, the live segment is counting down to like in the greens right now, so maybe, I don't know. Brain's tired. Anyway, I saved 2 minutes and 51 seconds against my personal best in that mission. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So if you were counting the whole run right now, technically I'm actually like about 1 minute and 29 seconds behind my personal best. So even with, like, you know, the pause that we took earlier on for the, you know, the betterment of our health, which I'm definitely going to be not talking tomorrow because my voice is nearly gone. I am going to be, like, the time is still very, very decent with that in mind. So yeah, not bad at all. Not bad. All right, mission 18. Let me give you the TLDR. Amanda is going to be extending the docking clamps to the Torrens, but is taken to a new nest before she leaves Sevastopol. I bet she's going to begin to get back to the tow platform and manages to attach the Torrens to leave Sevastopol forever. We're going to be getting to the point of the secondary nest in a moment, but that is... It's a bit of a process before we even get to that point. So you'll see what I mean. So here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Nice. I got to see that. Even whilst I was in the point of it loading, so that was pretty nice. All right, so I'm going to sprint burst Mori through here because technically the Xenomorph is still in its listening state. Yes, Steampunk Fiend. That was Alien Romulus. So if you've not seen or heard of Alien Romulus, it is a fantastic film. Highly advise that you watch that movie as well. It's awesome. Awesome, awesome movie. Awesome. I don't know if they're going to be working on anything new, but I can at least vouch that the most recent Alien movie, brilliant. All right, now I'm going to run from here. Excuse me. And we're trying to do this in such a certain way so that we can get over to the next computer to be able to disengage the other docking clamp in good timing so that the xenomorphs don't drop. Then I'm going to do a safety save, and then we're going to try to get a spacesuit and leave, basically. Nice controller, Doc Rod. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is the GameCube version of the Resident Evil 4 chainsaw controller, and my knuckles on my left hand absolutely kill right now. They really hurt. All right, here we go. Flame it 3 times. There's going to be a second xenomorph on the bottom floor. Flame that 3 times as well. Good. And then we're going to try to go over to the point where we're hoping that we can leave because we've technically disengaged the docking clamps. So surely we can get the spacesuit and just leave and everything will be fine, right? Everything will be fine, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Maybe? Oh. Oh. About that. Oh. Yikes. So, we've been taken by the xenomorphs and getting to the point of being harvested in their new nest. But thankfully, we just managed to wake up and we managed to get ourselves out of the harvesting and regain our consciousness and get the Haley out of Dodge, basically. So, this is kind of the last ditch effort. Now, I mentioned to you lot earlier on about the hugger boosting. So what it's going to be in a second is that, like, there's going to be a face hugger that's going to try to come up behind us. And when it comes up behind us and tries to latch in our face, it kind of shoots us forwards. If you shoot the flamethrower at the specific timing, you'll get that boost forwards but not die, and it actually saves you quite a good few seconds. So this is going to be an attempt. I'll do it once, and if I don't get it, I'll die, and then I'll just do it normally. But this is going to be a massive attempt. I only did it for the first time literally today. If I get it, let's pop off, okay? That, my friends, was a chainsaw controller hugger boost. So satisfying. So satisfying, man. That's awesome. Oh. Right, I'm going to throw a flare here. Ah, that's a shame. Oh, well. Oh, damn. Not what I wanted. This is weird. This is weird. Really weird. Go, 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 go. Come on. Leave already. Oh, come on. What are you doing? Thank you. Oh, my God. That was weird. I've never had that weird of a pattern before, so I don't know. Anyway, crouch here to get a pre-crouch. So that's when there's like an invisible barrier over here. When you crouch, it's going to put you back into pre-crouch and you can go underneath the invisible barrier. Super easy. Love it. God, that hugger boost was awesome. Oh, I'm so happy about that. So happy. Right, we are coming up towards like the last 6, 7. No, I said it again. I'm sorry. Lost like 6 minutes of the run. Oh, why did I say it again? I'm sorry to all of your ears for representing the number. Anyway. Yeah, so like there's a point in the moment where we can say this is definitely going to be like 5 minutes, if that makes sense. We're going to do a little skip here, which is going just on the edge of that, skipping that train animation so we can get over to this point, which we have to take the train animation. There's no other way around it, so that's it. Can't do anything about that. Wish there's a way that we can skip it, but we can't. Don't you call me Gen Alpha. 1991 was my year. I think it's not just before millennial, after millennial. Gen Z? I don't know anymore. Look, numbers are funny. Let's just consider that, right? Anyway, last 2 facehuggers that we need to kill. And we can basically waste all of our ammo here as well. What do you... Why was my face... Why was my flamethrower just going all the way like back and forth and not actually shooting? I hope we don't get the... Okay, that's never happened before. Huh? But I was curious why I'm saying that's never happened before. The sound of falling down the broken elevator in a second just played. You'll hear what I mean in just a second. Actually, no, it was the train one, yeah. Why did that audio replay? So weird, yeah. Ripley died by the train in another timeline, huh? Whatever. Again, the more that you keep the game open, the more that the game goes a bit skew with. Like, for example, if you die in that little section there like I did before, the game will like to give you a 40-second load screen. So, you know what I mean? The game's not perfectly coded. This was 10 years ago. It still holds up though, right? It still holds up, but like, there is definitely some nuances where the game could go be a ride. Right, from here, it's about 5 minutes left of the run. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, that was a weird audio placement. I don't know. So, for the meantime, the only thing we're going to try to do now is try to get over towards like the end of the docking area. Try to engage these like little blasting pins so we can basically try to blow up all the Sebastopol, along with all of the evidence, along with all of the xenomorphs, and then get into the torrents and escape, and hopefully everything will be fine. There is a strat that you can do with the blasting pins called double pins. Now, let me tell you that I've not been able to get double pins on this controller. It is not easy to do because what you're trying to do is kind of like hold on the edge of one of the pins, and as soon as you press like the E button or the button you've assigned, throw your mouse over to the other side and press A rapidly or E rapidly, and that will be able to activate 2 of them at the same time. I've only been able to do 1 double pin, and that was completely on pure luck and random. The first time I did it, I was able to do it across, but in the very in today's practice runs, somehow I was able to do it from the right side top to bottom left diagonal, and I've never done that in my life ever. I've never done that, so it was the weirdest thing of like going, yo, diagonal double pin on a weird controller, but like, I don't know if I'm going to get it. I'm not going to guarantee it. Basically, you can save 15 seconds per double pin, so it is a good time save, but like, if I don't get it, honestly, it's not the end of the world. Like, again, chainsaw. Chainsaw. But if I can at least get 1 double pin, that's hype. That's hype live on GDQ right there. That's absolutely hype. So, again, this has been awesome to showcase again. Thanks, Ek, for getting me involved as always, man. Always a pleasure to do these wacky speedruns for you, man.
Yeah, they're fun to have on.
Yeah. So last things we got to do, we got to try to get the key cards on these little bits. Then we got to put it in. Basically, try to open up this little emergency vent over here, and that's going to be the point of the double pin. So let's see if we do it. And then there's one last little speed fun thing that we can do, which, heck, I'm going to wild you out with this because you obviously know this. You know the fast walk section at the end of mission 19, yeah?
Yeah.
I have never been able to get it on keyboard and mouse normally, but for every single run that I've done on the chainsaw controller, I've always got fast walk.
Huh.
How and why, I wish I could tell you. I don't know. Anyway, let's see if we can get the double pins. If I can get it, this will be funny. All right. Did I just get it? That is 1 double pin. If I get a second one, that would be a first try. I think I just got both double pins. That is the first live in GDQ on a chainsaw controller. That is double pins. 30 seconds time saved. Never done that on a chainsaw controller. Live first time on GDQ. All right. What a nice way to end this run, man. That's hype, yo. Oh my God. Sick. Cool. Let's see if I get the fast walk. If I do, that's going to make the rest of the run perfect, all right? Oh, we don't get fast walk. You know what I think it is? I think it's like if you get double pins, then it's going to be a little bit more unreliant. If you don't get like maybe one or none, then you don't get the fast walk. Ah, shame. Anyway, it's an 8.2 second time loss here, guys. Anyway, Amanda is back in the Torrens, leaves the basketball. However, there is a xenomorph that also got on board and pushes her into the airlock. She ejects herself with the xenon and the game ends. So time will be coming up momentarily as soon as the screen goes black. I will be calling time in a second as well, just to match it. And time. There we go. Not bad at all. Not a bad run. I am very, very happy with that. I'm really happy with that. I've genuinely have got no complaints. That was a great run all around. We covered a great amount. It did awesome. We got to do double pins. We got to do double pins. Hey, look, if there's anything we can take away from it, that I managed to do both double pins on the chainsaw controller. I am stoked with that. I am absolutely stoked with that. So, you know what? Take that to the bank. Anyway, I hope you lot enjoyed this run of Alien Isolation. Again, I do a lot of different kinds of performance speedrunning on different alternative controllers. If you want to see me do things like, I don't know, very soon, a Nokia 3310 as a game controller, a rat toy as a game controller as well, a mini DDR toy, DJ decks, a DSLR camera, steering wheels, bicycles, smashable enter buttons, cutlery, a literal pencil, many different weird controllers and alternative controllers that I make to show a better form of light of video gaming and also to show you the different kind of accessibility in gaming as well. Come check me out on twitch.tv/Nico Hart, where I do variety gaming, speedrunning, loads and loads of memes. If you like memes, you're in a safe place. You can also follow me on twitch.tv/Nico Hart DJ, because I am working on a very cool Unreal Engine DJ scene in which I'm going to be DJing in a cool, like, dystopian, cyberpunky sort of like space with loads of like controllable lighting and cool DJ lighting, LED booths and stuff like that. Working really hard on that at the moment. And yeah, I'm doing too much at the moment. Life is always crazy, but the vibes are always amazing. So yeah, would love to see you, but don't forget to follow me on the social medias as well. Like, I mean, mostly hello Nico Hart, Niko Hart on most platforms. YouTube is just Nico Hart, and I think that's all of my major plugs. So with that, Ekdose, back to you.
Yeah, thank you for the run, and hopefully everyone enjoyed it. If you did enjoy the run and Nico Hart, feel free to follow him. The link should be in chat. Twitch.tv/Nico Hart for a lot of fun speedrunning and fun controller gaming, let's say. But yeah, that is our episode of Speedruns from the Crypt. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. As usual, we'll be back in about 2 weeks. It's always fun putting these on. I've been your host, Dices. If you enjoy the shows at all, I don't know, come check me out sometime. Somewhere on the screen here, you can find it. If you missed out on Crosshair or Speedruns from the Crypt, you can stay tuned as we replay both of today's shows after this. You can also tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern for a special Thursday episode of Out of the Box and Creature Corner. With that being said, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and or night.